YouTube. Let's see. How are we doing? Oh, okay. Says I'm live. Okay, I am. Pin.chat. All right. So we are on Happs, D Live, and YouTube. Okay, see who comes in. See what we've got. Restarted my channel last night. Ended up with around 45 viewers to start. Now we have 23. It's kind of interesting. We have 83 followers on DLive and Happs. I don't know. Huh. So we'll see how this goes. I'm hoping to be streaming to all. There's Animus. Hi, buddy. How you doing? I'm just trying out this new way of streaming. I'm on 3 platforms. Hey, Paula. So I really didn't have anything planned. So I thought, let's see here, my camera, more. Hi, Max. Now, is there a way, invite guests? Let's see. So how do you do that? Huh. Hey, DJ. Yeah, I had some issues, so I just started a new channel. So we'll see, we'll get dedicated followers in here. I had 760 or something on YouTube. I can't remember. It was a lot. But as I said the night before, I don't really worry about that kind of thing. So if I get 20 people in here, like I usually get, that are dedicated to doing remote viewing, that's kind of what I want. Had people talking and doing all kinds of other things on the channel, so I started it new. Give me a second, guys. I got to grab something. Got to grab a smoke here. Forgot to bring them. And my coffee. And Paula, how do I invite people up? It says invite guests here, but it doesn't tell me how. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, there we go. I have to actually type the whole name. Oh, wow. Here we go. Put your name wrong. There's sunshine and rainbow. Okay. There you are, I think. Is that you? You're not using StreamYard? I have no clue. I don't know if this is you. Are you on Happs? Let's see. That doesn't look like your headline there. We'll see how this goes. Very tale at the end of the session was pretty interesting. Yeah, it was. It's people like to dominate chat, and I don't like that. Back in a sec. Yeah, you can get another one. I could use another one. Yep. There we go. Just sent my wife on a mission. Hello, Scotty boy. Well, this is working out well. We're getting the people in here that I want to see. This is nice. Yes.
All right. See, I didn't want you to go, oh my God, she's a captain.
I don't know how that works. So,
right.
rainbow seeds. So, apparently now, what happens is I have to somehow share. Let's see how this works. So, invite guest. So, you can invite a guest through as a participant. Now, are you guys on Happs? I'm not sure if I can get to other platforms or not. No class last night. I wasn't allowed to stream on here. So you are on Happs, aren't you, Rainbow? You have an account. Oh, yeah, I'm supposed to call you when I have no class. Rainbow Phoenix. See, it has a Rainbow Phoenix here, but I don't know if that's you. PH. Supernova. Let's try that. No, you don't exist, Paula. Today's your cleaning day? Oh, okay. I just wanted to see if I could find you, that's all. Let's see if Wild Animist, do you have an account here? No. So this is much harder to invite people up. I have to figure this out. Hi, Max. How are you doing? Well, we could try that. I don't know how that would work. Let's see. Let's see here. I don't have any options on DLive. Ducky sent me, hi, Ray. Hi, R. Mayfield. Nice to meet you. Let's see if DLive wants to show notifications. Allow. And that one's not, Ducky, that one's not streaming over. That sucks. Why doesn't DLive want to synchronize the chat? Okay, well, I'll have to open up a couple tabs then. So we've got people on different platforms. I know that YouTube is streaming here, but it seems that DLive just doesn't want to. I had that problem with other platforms as well. Pull up DLive here. Yeah, I don't know why D-Live doesn't want to do that. Yeah, you're on YouTube. You didn't get, you did get notification. That's cool. No, I think the only way that I can do this is if anybody's on Happs. Here, let's see if a friend of mine is around. Let's look for. Give me a second here. I have a good internet connection. That's good. I guess. Let's look for. Friend. Oops. There he is. Invite. There we go. Doc's always good for a good yak. And I don't have anything planned for today. Other than that, I was just going to work on some modeling clay. I have, missing you guys on D-Live there. Ducky sent me. Yeah, I'm not even doing class today, R. Mayfield. Class consists, I'll explain class to you if you haven't done remote viewing before. It's using the third eye. Be right back, Max. Okay. Remote viewing is using your third eye. There was a program run by the U.S. military by a guy named Ingo Swann. And what do I have? Let me see here. I have echo going on. There we are. Okay, got the echo. Okay, Max, come on up. Is using your third eye. What we do is a method called the military method. I give you a number. That number is linked to a target. That target could be an image or a destination. Images are just pictures that I download off the internet, take out of books, any source I can get. And destinations are in our minds. They're places and events, say like the sinking of the Titanic. You can go and see that. First full day off in over a month. Wow. That sucks. What kind of work do you do, Scotty boy? Me too, John. First full day off. Oh, okay, Max. This is too much, buddy. I gotta switch you. Okay, you go up there. I don't know if he'll stay there. He gets persistent. Why? I don't understand. Not going to phase in and out of a coma today. Well, that's always fun. Team chats. It says there's. I don't understand this Happs system. It's interesting. I'll have to get used to it. I do like where the chat is though. Contractor. Carpenter. Okay, contract carpenter. Cool. I don't know what we're going to have a show about today. Let's check over here. Check something. Getting ready to go. Okay. That's working good. Okay. Oops. Good. I hope I didn't lose anything. Yeah, right. Yeah, it was interesting on YouTube last night. I had 45. Oop, I had 45 subscribers. I woke up this morning and there was 23. I thought that was funny. Let's see what it says now. 23. Interesting. I like the number. So, is there anything you guys wanted to talk about? We got this new platform going. And you said you wanted to talk about something, Animus. If you guys can, I don't know how to do this. Let's see if there's no. Present on screen, mute user, reply. Huh. I got to get used to this, Happs. I need to be. Don't need to be frustrated. Happs won't let me in. So since I'm still waking up, I'm going to deal with them. Yeah. Maybe, Scotty boy. But that was last night. I went to bed and there was 45. I woke up and there was 23. That's funny. I've been shunned. Oh no. Let's see. That goes on. I'm just trying to check all the platforms we're on here. People are questioning. I love it, truly. Yeah. You tried 3 times. Wow. You've been on apps before, though, Paula. Big fat cat of my own. Fussing for. Yeah. Yeah. Whenever I get online, he really wants attention, it seems. It's kind of fun. Apps D Live, Serpents of Sophia is live. Okay. So it looks like Talk Illusion did go live.
What's up, man?
Hey, there you are. How do I
Yo,
get you up there?
I'm here.
Let's
I
see
don't
here.
know. I'm an illusion right now, I guess.
Move to
How you doing, bro?
primary. Does that do it? There we go. Let's see
How
which
you doing,
setup.
bro?
Doing good. How are you doing? Let's turn
Great,
you up a bit.
actually. I've been
Awesome.
stacking money, stacking money, stacking money, and not spending it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a superpower. And I finally see a light at the end of the tunnel because I now have enough money to get a car
Yeah.
and or a place to live. I'm trying to do
Well,
both at once. So
yeah.
I don't
Some
want to
people
choose one
consider
or
the
the other.
car both. So,
Well, well, yeah, but it's just my environment is still chaotic, but
for
I
one coin,
have been doing really good. Uh, I've just been busy. I
human
started
space.
working part time, uh, you know, 1099, so the government can't steal half my check. You know,
Cool.
so it's cool, man. Yeah, yeah. It's
That's
not a whole
awesome.
lot, but it adds up, man. I got like 2 3 grand sitting pretty.
Yeah.
And the great thing about that is when it becomes more consistent, I'm going to be taking my channel. I'm probably going to create a new channel because they hate me, and I like that. I like that they hate me. Um,
Yeah, I feed off the hate myself.
because it tells me that you know,
You're poking the right,
like
the right.
like JP says, you know, like we were wrong about everything. But see, I don't care. I would rather be wrong in their eyes, you know, and right in my
Mhm.
own.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So I've decided that I'm actually going to reverse engineer it. Even
Okay.
though they are right, even though they are right, I'm choosing to be wrong.
Okay.
How do you like that one?
I like it.
I like it a lot. But yeah, man, things are looking up. I gotta
Awesome.
say, I just been busy. But when I have what I need, man, I'm probably gonna create another channel. I'll have my own. I'll have a new computer. You know, a new mic, so it'll be more. I want to say professional, but
Mhm.
you know, kinda, kinda. So I'll be able to share
Very
a lot
emotional.
more
Yeah.
like I used to when I first started, when I was dropping like 3 videos a day,
Good one, Scotty boy.
you know,
Yeah.
and take it to the next level. Uh, I've been studying how to navigate this algorithm,
Hmm.
um, and how to you know sidestep all the sensors. So I might be a little more presentable,
Okay.
not too much, but just enough to get them to stop shadow
All
banning
right,
me.
Paul. Yeah.
Just enough
Yeah.
because I really want
I
to.
started a new channel on YouTube, which was interesting. I
Oh, you
had
did?
40. Yeah, I had 45 subscribers last night, and then I woke up this morning and there were 23.
That's great.
You know, so overnight, I guess people just decided, you know what, I like being subbed to his channel, but now I've decided not to. Hi, David Barry. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you here.
Yeah, I might actually have two channels. I
Yeah.
might have a channel where I just joke around, and then have another one that's like serious
Well,
about
I'm
occult science and ascension and all that fun stuff.
yeah. I've got. I'm trying to get as many platforms linked together as I can now. I'm having problems with
Yeah,
DLive because they don't. The chat doesn't come over here from DLive. It comes over from YouTube. Um, I'm gonna. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Those are the only two I've got so far. I have accounts in um, Odyssey. I have one in Happs, DLive, YouTube,
yep.
and I think there's another one. Can't remember.
That
I'm not
seems to
sure.
be how the kids are doing it. I think it's a little redundant, but it seems what the kids are doing. So
Yeah,
you know,
might as well keep up.
I'll create an account for everything. It'll just be a dummy account with no real information
Hmm.
because they're not gonna uh, put me in their database. So I'll create an Instagram, a YouTube, a Facebook, all of it, all of it. D Live,
Hmm.
Odyssey, Happs. What is it? There's one called Rockfin. I can do it all.
Yeah.
Rockfin's actually pretty cool.
Let me switch accounts here.
That's where David Whitehead moved. Actually, you know that
Okay.
Canadian guy, eh? And I actually talked to him. I actually talked to
Yeah.
David Whitehead.
I haven't seen any videos from
He's the
him
coolest
lately.
guy.
I haven't seen
That's
his.
because he's on Rockfin now.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. He went to Rockfin because they censor the hell out of everything. So him and
Yeah.
Michael are doing it on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
it's
that's
really
why I'm doing the
cool. When I
multi-platform.
talked to
I want free speech, right? I want to be able to say what I want. I want to be able to say
right,
that vaccines are bad for people and probably going to damage them,
right,
and shit like that. That I'll
yeah,
probably get banned on YouTube for. You know,
yes,
I want to be able to say that
that's
the government is actually now working against us, not the entire government, but there are factions in it that really should be
except
taken
Bill
down.
Gates.
Yeah, and
Except
Bill
Bill Gates, who
Gates.
loves us.
Bill Gates loves us, and Yeah.
He's a
No,
great
but on
doctor.
on this platform, I don't have to censor myself. You know,
Yes.
I'm in Canada, so
This
I
is
still
true.
might get charged for it, but at least it'll get out there.
Well, I
Like
mean, you
just,
guys rally against your government, so it's all good.
yeah, we do.
I respect you for that. I do.
But right now, we've got Trudeau. He's attempting to pass another
He's a
censorship
great guy.
bill. Yeah, yeah. He's trying to. He was doing Bill C-36 and Bill C-10, and basically, it's pre-crime. I love it. It's pre-crime.
Yes. Minority Report.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you do something online or say something in chat, right? Um, DLive is doing the same as YouTube. Oh, just lighter. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want
Rockfin,
multi-platform.
man.
Yeah, Rockfin. I'll
That's
have
the
to
new.
look that one up.
That seems to be the new thing. It seems to be one of the only ones that aren't, uh, pushing it. I mean, Odyssey, too. But Odyssey, I can't make an account.
Yeah.
It won't let me. I
Huh.
tried to, and it sends me in a circle. Like I have the Liberty app, and when I try to make an account, it says, "Okay, you made an account." And then when I go to log into the account, it says it doesn't exist. And then I go to it again, and it says I'm there. So it's not sure if I'm there or not. It can't decide. I don't know what the hell that's about. It's weird as hell. I spent 10 minutes going in a circle
Uh-huh.
where it's like register. And it's like, okay, your account has been accepted. And then I go to log in and it says it's not there. It's really strange.
Doesn't stay up there. Huh. Well, that's a pretty interesting comment there, Wild Animals. I like it.
Their power is imaginary. That's the thing. They use occult sciences to manipulate us. But see, they didn't see me coming. They didn't see someone coming into the occult sciences who would actually understand it and go behind enemy lines
Yeah, I've
and
been
actually
behind enemy
use
lines
it
too.
for. Yeah, well, that's what Hanuman does. That's the story of Hanuman.
Well, we're
He
gods,
allows
right?
himself he allows himself to forget that he's a god.
Mm-hmm.
That's his actual story. I'm not going to get into
Mm-hmm.
the depth of it, but that's more or less what happens.
Yep.
And then he allows himself to be caught by the enemy, Ravana, and like then he has you know one of his commanders who reminds him, "Hey, you're Hanuman, you're Shiva," and he's like, "Oh shit, really?" And he totally like foils the plans of Ravana and basically burns the place down. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's me. I feel like that's
Yes.
me.
That's us
So
all. Once we realize it, that's important. We can be spiritual warriors. We can be spiritual healers. We can be spiritually anything. We are gods.
yes, that's
Um,
right.
all the ancient texts support that, and once you realize it, and you go into your mind and you think of things you want to change, right? Think like when I was young, I studied spellcasting, and spellcasting is working in the minute, really, to
It's
change
low
things.
magic.
Yeah.
It's
Um,
useful,
oh yeah.
but I'm very much more interested in high magic, aeonic magic, which
Yeah.
is to destroy the self in order and to destroy what you think you are in order to be reborn to what you always were.
Yeah.
So it's the tearing down of every mask, the tearing down of every, and that's what these spirits are really about. And this is what people they don't want anyone to know, and so they make it scary because you know the
Oh
the
yeah.
the the God in the sky will punish you for
Yeah.
having knowledge.
Well, yeah.
Uh, he damns the serpent, curses it. The serpent, as we've all been through, is the goddess, is the Kundalini, is the way out. It's nature. And so all of these ancient gods, you know, were turned into angels and demons. And, you know, so
What
all
do you
the
mean
angels are
there,
good and
Scotty?
all the demons are bad. All the angels are good and all the demons are bad.
Yep.
And really, it's like, no, they're just like us.
Yeah.
There are good demons and bad angels.
Well, and they all have good and
And
bad
there are,
aspects. They can do good
right.
and bad in either form.
And if you really want to get down to it, they're really two halves of the same
Mm-hmm.
force. That's why there's 72 demons, 72 angels, and 72 names of God.
Yeah.
And then when you add that together, it's 216.
Well, a
Which
balanced
is
action is a very,
six,
very hard thing to do.
which is 6 times
You
6
know,
times 6,
yeah.
just for the record. So
I'd,
that's what 666 is.
yeah. Show me, like,
It's
try
this,
and find a balanced action in the universe. It's very, very difficult. Say you
yeah.
feed the poor, well, then you're killing animals or plants, right? You know? So there's
Yeah.
always a plus and minus. There's always positive and negative in almost everything.
Well, I've just been working a lot with the goddess Sophia, Kali, Freya, Lilith, whatever mask you want to give her,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And she has helped me with trauma. She has helped me with uh, finding my true will. She she's helped me with a lot. And that Jesus guy, I really
Oh
like him
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Uh, which is anathema. I can't be cool with Lilith and Jesus and Lucifer. Like that can't be. But
No.
but I am. They're my friends. And yeah, the thing is
Stone off of
that
this. Use it to advance
real
stone.
real
That's
magic
right, Scotty boy.
is nothing more than the manipulation of electromagnetic energy and influence.
Yeah.
So really what you're doing is you're getting your imagination freedom to run wild.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is what's crazy. Okay, like our conscious mind, which is concerned with mundane reality and survival and all that,
Mm-hmm.
okay, which they're now showing through science that our brain was, you know, set in motion and adapted only for evolution and survival. So it wasn't really created for us to see ultimate reality. Because if it was, we would be looking at the infinite fields of vibration and geometric patterns and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and light, because that's really the essence of all things is light, vibration, frequency. And this entire universe, this entire reality is based in freedom, love, wisdom, you know, sharing. And that's really it.
Yeah.
Beauty. And but they tell you that nature is scary, so you don't want that. Knowledge is bad.
Nature's scary and dirty. Um,
Nature
yeah.
is scary and dirty, and it's out to get you.
Knowledge
And
knowledge needs to be controlled and manipulated, and you know,
yes,
uh,
well, you go from
skewed.
knowledge to
Right.
understanding to wisdom, because knowledge is just information.
Yeah.
It's when you're able to capitulate that information and integrate that information into an understanding, which then brings wisdom. And the wisdom is the ability to practically apply that knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're talking about the occult sciences, it's about self transformation, either through uh, positive, uh, positive influences and uh,
And negative.
integration. And well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right. And then using the powers of, for example, the cliff off, which
Hmm.
is the dark side, the night side of the tree of
Yeah.
life. Okay, the Sephiroth is to go to the top, to go through the spheres and rise to the top and reach Kater, and then basically dissolve into nothingness with Source. And then the other side is to actually, uh, instead of surrendering to any any force, you actually separate yourself. So, for instance, the Sephiroth is the path well traveled. It's the
Yeah.
path with all the road signs. It's the path where everything's been done already for you, more or less. So it's harmonious and simple, and it's great, but it's not the end.
No.
Okay, so once you understand the unity of everything, you
Hmm.
can then divide from that and become a god in your own right in the truest sense of the word. But the only way to do that is the same way that God did it, and that is to surrender to chaos. But chaos is not really chaos; it's creation through
Oh,
destruction.
I don't believe in chaos at all. But even the
It's
destruction I've seen is all ordered. It's all ordered.
well, right. That's what I'm saying. It appears that way. So you know, all these things that are negative, all these
It
things
does
that are
result in
bad.
things we would call randomness, but it's just the outsides of the bell curve, that are going to happen in any case. So,
Yeah. But when you understand these energies within
yeah,
yourself and you're
there
able
you
to
go.
focus,
Once we
you
understand
can.
the energies in ourselves and outside too, and the energies coming off of other people.
Yes. And then you realize that everyone is you. And that's the head trip.
Yeah. Well, we're
That's
all
why
one.
Jesus. Right.
I was talking about the fractalization of how God fractalized himself to create us in some sense.
Yes.
Um, so at the end of our lives, we may fractalize and become multiple souls, or double ourselves, or there's the possibility of maintaining your torus field and not experiencing some type of an explosion or an energy release from your central self, which is what we work on, I think, with raising our spirits and raising our frequencies. A
Yes.
higher frequency probably has a better chance in the electromagnetic soup that we live in to maintain itself and maintain its cohesion after you pass. And I think that a lot of things like there's a lot of people that talk of the systems to break up the soul at the end, right? To make it forget, to diminish it, and
Right.
finding ways to cohesively maintain yourself, like your emotions through this life. Um, Learning how not to get fearful or um,
Right.
angry with rage. Like anger's fine. It's rage that's the problem. Uh, you know,
Yes.
when your emotions are in control of you, um, you're going to have a tough time.
Yeah, there's the difference. I call it the blue flame of anger, which basically produces motivation and change.
Hmm.
Same as destruction. And then you have the red flame, which is just out of control,
That's
and
good.
it's not
Nice.
really is not really directed in any one place. It's
Hmm.
just it's you know
Yeah, blue
like a
is
wild
cohesive in
beast.
symbology, and red is radiating and expanding. So, yeah, just for people listening, that way they understand the
Yes,
reference.
yes. But this other side of the tree, this Citrara, okay,
Hmm.
is a place that has no logic. It is this is the dark feminine energies. And what it is creation is actually chaos. And what I mean by that
Yeah.
is when you create something such as art, as an
Hmm.
example, it it's a pattern interrupt. It
Hmm.
breaks the order of things and shows other
Yeah.
possibilities.
A unique
If you think about it,
experience and a unique energy.
right? So traveling through the cliff off and with
Right,
these
Scott?
dark energies, you know, you start to realize that you are all things, all possibility. And so you're basically stepping outside of the ordered universe. This is what I mean when I say chaos. It's not really. No, you're stepping outside of the ordered universe. Like I said, it all has signposts and directions, and everything is harmonious and safe, right? It's really safe. But the cliff off is incomprehensible. It's random. It's chaotic. It's destructive. It's creative. But when you start to understand and align yourself with these energies, you can use adversity in order to build yourself
Hmm.
for self mastery, where you become in control, like you're saying, of all those dark things, the shadow, right?
Hmm.
So when you're, it brings you into trauma. It brings you into, things that people would rather not look at.
Hmm.
But once you do, the benefit and the power uh, of it is extraordinary.
Hmm.
Um, you start to understand how we actually create our reality.
Hmm.
And then, so like I said, you kind of step outside of the ordered universe, surrender
Yeah. Once you
yourself
get that,
to,
gain that ability of detachment, it opens up
yes,
worlds for you. Um,
yes,
you don't have to engage in the emotions that are being put on us. Even there's even emotions being put on us, negative ones.
well, they're not us. That's
No,
the
they're
thing.
not. They're not.
You realize that you're
Well, they
not
come
the
from
body.
us.
That's
They
the
do. They
first
do.
step.
The energy pattern does come from us, but it's repeated back.
Yes, but it's like a tape loop.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the subconscious mind.
Hmm.
And so that's a lot of what this is about too,
Yeah, that
is
is a form of
breaking those
magic. That
patterns.
the electronics that they're using is a form of magic.
Yes.
It messes with energies. Energies are
Oh yeah.
magic.
The energies well, that's what they want to do with the whole transhuman thing, because
Yeah.
the internet and what's come out of that are some of the most potent tools for the future of magic.
Hmm.
So they're of course hijacking the system like they always do,
Yeah.
that was used by our ancestors forever, and they are using the very same forces in order to manipulate us. So my point is that once you understand these energies, and once you understand the game, and you become psychic, you build psychic immunity, then everything they do is essentially irrelevant,
Yeah.
because you have become so
Emotion.
aware.
It's emotionally relevant. It is relevant to the world. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you understand what you actually are, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. So what happens in the outside world is almost irrelevant to you personally. So it's coming to an understanding of that. And like I said, using adversity in order to build yourself up. You have to die to what you think you are in
Hmm.
order to be reborn to what you always were, like I
Yeah.
said. And so, it's a very it's a very interesting journey. Um, it's
Yeah,
been a
patience
rough,
help
but
me. Patience will really help you along that journey. Uh, for everyone watching,
yeah,
it's that really got me along in mine. Was learning patience with everything, in every situation. Uh, that stops all kinds of other
that's
problems like aggression, confusion, miscommunications, all kinds of things. Patience in all things.
non-judgment as well
Yeah. You'll
is
find once
incredibly
you start
important.
practicing patience, you start floating around in the world. Like, you know how like a dinosaur will stomp and a butterfly will float? That's how you become. You become the butterfly.
Yes, that's the it's like the phoenix rising from the ashes.
Hmm. Yeah.
It, I really don't see it much different as Jesus saying, "Take up that cross and walk." On an esoteric level,
Hmm.
I mean that's essentially what he was saying.
Yeah. And when you're not so
It
absorbed
wasn't
with
like a
your
rosy road.
emotions, you can really observe the world around you because you're not being emotionally manipulated by the things
Well,
and media and all that shit. And you can really observe
the
the world properly.
yes, and that is basically the main goal of all true mysticism.
Hmm.
Is all suffering basically stems from not seeing reality as it is.
Yeah. It's awareness.
That
They
that
have they have
really is.
they have really subverted our awareness with their media, with their frequencies, and that
Yes,
is the goal. Because our awareness,
yes.
if we were to start contacting with each other through our eyes, um, and really feeling the emotions, because I think everybody to some extent is empathic, but they've deadened that in a lot of people. They don't feel the
Yes.
pain they're inflicting, and they should.
Some just don't. Some just don't want to.
Yeah. Well, you can harden
Just
yourself
rather
for
not.
sure. You can harden yourself for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And not me, but
yeah,
yeah.
that's why when I fight, I
Uh,
rarely actually hit a person if I actually am forced into a fight. Uh, I prefer to grapple them and
right.
just ask them to give up. And if they don't, well, I'll just go,
Disable them. Yeah.
yeah. It makes
Because it's
fighting
really
much
about
easier.
getting out of the situation.
Yeah, actually, being of that mindset, you will never lose a fight because you're not going for a kill shot. You're not
Yeah.
going to take the person out. All you're trying to
No.
do is maintain a balance, and then you take over the balance because they're trying to overextend with violence, and you can always take advantage of that.
I also think that we are put into situations in order to learn those things, even if they seem like who's this guy? He's a jack off. What is it? There's always a lesson.
Yeah,
You got to find the blessing in the pain
yeah. A funny one.
because it's there.
I was shopping the other day, and I was looking for something, couldn't find it, so I was headed out of the store. And there was this lady in a one of those what do you call them, carriers they ride around in. Uh, anyways, one of those electric mobiles. Anyway, so she was in the way, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll just practice patience. I'll wait. So I just waited, and I looked to my left, and there was the product that I've been looking for. So patience,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
patience
As soon
and
as you stop
divine
reaching for
providence. Yeah,
as soon as you stop reaching for something, it comes to you.
yep. You don't have to fight to get what you want. You can go with the flow, and the universe will bring it to you.
Yeah. It's realizing that your desire for it is actually the evidence that it's already yours.
Yeah,
You
and
wouldn't
you're
desire it if it wasn't already yours. That's what's crazy.
and you're working against it
And
by
working through,
feverishly trying to gain it. You know?
yes. And it's also these initiations that I've been going through completely annihilate your self-importance.
Hmm.
And that is another thing that is immensely important
I just gave up a channel with
is to realize
760 subscribers. I don't care.
it's yeah, because it'll come. The
Yeah.
wrong people will leave and the right people will
Yeah.
come back.
No,
It
there was a
that's
time
as soon as you
I had
as
prepared for
soon as you
this
let
even when I
go.
started my channel. I started a second channel at the exact same time so that at some time I would move over.
Yeah, I mean, you things are taken from us, especially like I said in these initiations,
Yeah.
uh, because they're not for our highest good,
Yeah.
and sometimes it can be catastrophic. And it doesn't necessarily mean negative.
Hmm.
I just mean like you have anabolic and you have catabolic. One is to build up, and one is to break down. And so you have these catastrophic events that can happen in your life, and you're like, "Oh, what the hell? God hates me. The devil's trying to get me. Whatever." But really, underneath all that is a great lesson
Yeah.
and a pathway to something greater if you can see it
Yeah.
for
The
what it
hero's journey.
is.
The hero's journey in all the writings. That's the path. You know? And every day
Yeah,
we get an opportunity to
yeah.
do the hero's journey. And with these challenges, we get
There's
a greater chance.
there's spirits in the major arcana.
Hmm.
There are actually spirits within the major arcana, and you can use the tarot for path working in order to understand these different archetypes. And that's one thing I want to say is I'm getting back into tarot again,
Okay.
as well as astrology, to the point I'm nowhere near where I want to be. But at the same time, I'm to the point now where I can look at someone's chart and not have to look at anything else and just know the archetypal patterns, you know,
Hmm.
and actually be able to read a chart with no, you know, actual training or teaching
Hmm.
under my
Well,
belt,
that's
just by
called
understanding the
experience. Yeah.
archetypes.
Yeah.
Right. Just by understanding the archetypal patterns within myself and without, as above, so below, as within, so without, as the universe, so the soul. And so by understanding those different archetypes, you're able to divine,
The energy was getting wrong,
you
Wild
know,
Animus.
you're able to channel and divine, you know, this higher knowledge. That's what tarot and all this is. It's just a symbolic system in order to basically tell your conscious mind to shut up and go to sleep and stop trying to control everything and let spirit take over. Put spirit back in get it out of the driving seat, you know, or get it out of the back seat and put it back in the driver's seat. Because the ego, you know, wants to control everything, wants to micromanage everything. But for me, the ego doesn't exist. This is the crazy thing. So you can't actually get rid of your ego because it never existed to begin with. The ego is something that we create over time through, living in society and having to have a persona in order to survive and to, live in this crazy world. But the ego itself is nothing more than identity and memory. Once you can wash away all that and you realize that you're not the body, you're not your race, you're not your religion, you're not, and you go through it, netty netty. I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not, and you get to the point to where it's like, well, what the hell am I?
Hmm.
You know, and then you realize, oh, I am nothing, which is all things. You know, so to me, that's one of the breakthroughs when you understand that you are actually all things and you are all possibility. And that's what source is. That's what the absolute is all possibility.
Hmm.
So it has within it good and evil. However, it has surpassed and transcended the necessity for evil. We haven't. To me, that's the lesson. The absolute, the God force, okay, that set everything in motion, is beyond good and evil. That's that's the trick. Good and evil is a perception, and it's a choice. It only exists because we create it. So it's, you know, coming to an awareness of that and realize, okay, I could be all things, but I choose to be this. But then realizing that whatever you choose to be is still an illusion.
Hmm.
We essentially don't exist in the sense of our body, our mind, our memory, our identity. That's just a mask that we wear in this incarnation. But really, we're beyond all that. It's one thing to know you're not the body. It's another thing altogether to realize you're not the mind either. And that basically we are so much more. And this is why I say what happens in the outside world is almost irrelevant. I mean, yes, it's terrible. We have empathy and all that. Like, let's be clear. But I'm saying, on a personal level, you start to realize what these people are doing, the systems they are using, and how it works, and you're able to see the signs. You're able to see the patterns. You're able to, you don't even have to look into anything anymore. You know the game.
Yeah.
And when you know the game, then and you know how to play the game, okay, they can no longer control you, no matter what happens.
Yeah.
Because like I said, you gain a psychic immunity. And so then the more you try to
It's
understand,
like a truth filter too.
yeah, the more you try to understand self and actualize self, it you start to understand our origin and our true power. And I do
Hmm.
mean power and abilities.
Hmm.
And you realize that
Now,
there's no difference between what they have and what we have,
yeah,
except they're psycho and we're not.
yeah,
That's it.
it,
We can do everything they're doing if
it
we
makes
wanted
them
to.
much more dedicated than the average human being. That's all. But we can
Yeah,
be just as dedicated.
you can say that. Yeah. See, the problem is that good doesn't organize itself
Well,
secretly. Evil does,
yeah, they don't even know they're at war. That's the problem.
because we don't feel the need to do so, because we don't need to keep secrets. But they do. But the thing is everything that has been uh, filtered out and suppressed and eliminated from our perception through all this programming,
Hmm.
through thousands of years and ancestral trauma and all of that. Once you understand the origins of that trauma, and then you realize that your trauma is actually all of your ancestors' trauma as well, just like your shadow is all of your ancestors' shadow.
And it
And so
piles up
when
on us
you understand that,
genetically, and it piles up on us socially in the world.
yeah,
Hmm.
but when you're able to
Absolutely.
disengage from that
Yeah.
and reject it, and like I said, a pattern interrupt, you smash the patterns, and you realize that chaos is really freedom, because order came from chaos, not the other way around. In the beginning, there, it. Like I said, it's the creative force. The dark feminine is the creative force. It's beyond logic. It doesn't operate in equations and logic and reason and patterns and all of that. It's completely free. It's without restrictions. It's beyond good and evil. It's beyond uh, control even, because really the control itself is an illusion.
Well,
You
yeah.
can't really
Okay.
control anything outside yourself. You can
No,
believe it,
you
you
can
can impose
manipulate
it,
it and influence it. Yes, but
but the fact
control.
is that the control itself is illegitimate. So they're
Oh
able
yeah.
to keep the illusion alive by people not understanding that it's illegitimate and that it's a lie from the beginning. And evil has within it the seeds of its own destruction.
Well, the thing with
It
manipulation too is that things will naturally want to go back to their normal state of energy, and you're manipulating it to basically falsify the reality. And if you can't you have to maintain that control on a constant basis. And if you don't, that energy will return to its natural state. And that's the problem with manipulating people is eventually their energy will return to a natural state unless you keep the manipulation up on a constant basis and don't let them have any breaks.
Yes, it's relentless,
Yeah.
and that's how they're able to do what they do.
Hmm.
You know, with the fear of hell and damnation just for extra effect.
Just for an extra kick. Yeah.
Yeah, politics is used to control people uh, in this life. Religion is used to control people to make sure they stay in
Yeah.
line. Like in the other life, like you become not only afraid of this life but the next life.
Yeah.
So it's
Exactly.
a hell of a you know. But when you really understand what Jesus was talking about, and I was reading the Bible again and the New Testament, and I can't even read it anymore because I just laugh because I'm like, what are people reading?
Yeah. It's
Like,
they've
you know,
inserted a lot and changed a lot.
they were talking, yeah, but if you read the parables, the truth is still there.
Yeah. You have to
It's
read them.
almost like
That's all.
they didn't understand it, and so when they manipulated it, they just left it there, like, oh, that's gibberish. I'm serious. I really think that's what happened
Well,
because
there is the concept too that really the book wasn't meant for us, and that only in the 1600s you couldn't even read. It was you could die if you went up to the pulpit and read that Bible
that's right.
in previous days. So in the 1600s, when it got published, uh, and the rewrites happened, the King James and all that, they were trying to maintain the knowledge, I think, but hide it from us.
Yes,
So they manipulated it in such a way that they could read underneath it, and they could read a surface story to us. And
exactly.
that's how they've used it over the years. At least that's what I've seen.
Well, yeah, it's the same as when they had the priest that would declare the omens, and they knew when the storms were coming, and
Yeah,
they had the message from the gods because they were endowed by divine right. This is where royalty came from, is that they were interpreting the gods. Because they understood the astrology and the numerology and the
the priesthood.
symbology
Yeah,
and all of that.
yeah, the
And like you
priesthood. They
said,
just shifted over to business and finance. That's all.
yes, exactly. It's just a mask.
Hmm.
Most of these corporations aren't even about money. That's one of the.
Well, look at their
That's a big one.
symbology. Look at the multinational conglomerations and their symbology and all their logos. They're pedophiles. They're Satanists. They're well.
Yeah.
Satanists. They're, you know,
Right.
but
Yeah, Satan's got a bad name.
yeah,
But I mean, yes, they absolutely you know, I don't want to talk too much about the Talmud, but you know, you want Satanism, there you go.
there's very
Satanists are
few.
about liberation.
There's very
I have
few of
the
these people,
Satanic Bible.
which is a benefit, really, because there are very few of these people, and you know, if see they what I don't understand is they have declared corporations human beings or persons.
Yes.
Okay, why are they not held to the same standards as a human? Then they should be in jail for
Yeah.
murder, for damages, for what is
Yeah.
there's a law where if you do not give assistance to someone in need, you are culpable.
Yeah.
Why aren't they
But
in jail
see,
for that? You
because
know,
they tell us through the symbolism, and so that's their justification for
and how
their
do you put a
karma.
corporation in jail?
Right. Well, it's already dead.
Yeah,
You know, a corpse is a dead thing.
yeah,
You
it's
know
a dead
that.
thing. Yeah,
And so that's why when you walk in, you
but
see,
it is its own entity because the corporate function happens. The
yeah, an
liability to
entity.
the liability to the shareholders as an
That
entity
you
that
just said it. It's
continues.
an
Yeah.
entity.
Oh yeah, it is.
It's an egregor. A corporation
Yeah.
is an egregor,
Yeah. So the only
but
way
it needs.
to fix or um, I don't know how do you punish a corporation? You have to break it up. You know.
Yeah, and it all ties back to the Vatican.
Yeah.
Really,
Well,
I
yeah,
mean,
their claims on everything, but nobody's challenged. I challenged it. You know, I don't believe they have a
well,
claim on everything.
they have all the people bulls that say that they basically are stand-ins for Christ because he's not here. So through apostolic succession, they're watching the property, and they own all souls and all life and all
Mm-hmm.
land and sea and whatever,
Yep.
you know. And and this was in the 1300s, and nobody's questioned it.
Yeah.
No one has challenged it to this day.
Well, what body existed or even now exists that can challenge it?
It's sorcery.
Yeah.
It's nothing
See,
less than sorcery.
that has to be the people themselves saying no, or just the dismantlement of the church. Uh, a lot of these
Yeah.
institutions seems like they just really have to be dismantled. Um,
Well, Jesus said that my Father's house is not made by the hands of man.
yeah.
That should have been pretty clear. So a lot of these people that claim to be Christians or whatever the case are
Well, he's very
antichrist.
good.
They're absolutely antichrist. The more
Mm.
you actually read the New Testament without religious preconceptions, the more you realize how much what Jesus said was true. And the same people that are running things now are the same people that he was calling out then.
Mm.
And, you know, this brings us
The
to what I
Pharisees and
call,
Sadducees, and as we said,
yes.
they just went right into
So,
finance.
so we won't call it Satanism. We'll call it Judaic Satanism, Talmudic Satanism. Okay? Because remember, Satan's not a big deal in Judaism. They don't
Well,
believe in Satan in the
see
sense
these
of the way.
people do they actually use these teachings or do they just hide behind them?
I've studied the Kabbalah and
Like
all of
they may do
this,
what they say,
and
but they do they believe or do they just hide behind it? You know?
I, I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah,
Uh, but like I said, if you really want
because then it gives them a
the truth,
scapegoat, right?
believe
That's their scapegoat.
right.
Their
Yes,
writing.
that's Azazel. I was talking about that
Yeah.
yesterday. It's actually in Leviticus. Azazel is one of the fallen angels, supposedly, but yet they did sacrifices to him. This is in the Old Testament, Leviticus 16, I believe. I was reading it yesterday.
Hmm.
And then I went to Mark, I believe it was, and Jesus was basically quoting that and saying that there are only two commandments: to love thy God with all thy heart and all thy mind and all thy soul and all thy strength, and to love thy neighbor as thyself. And he said that is greater than all sacrifices. So it made them nil. And, he was saying all this on the Sabbath. And he was telling people, like, he was breaking all of the rules. This is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everyone thinks that he was agreeing and fulfilling the prophecies of Judaism, when actually nothing could be farther from the truth. He was virulently, he wasn't attacking it, but he sure the hell was rebuking it, calling it out. And this is why I say that
Well, he demeaned their
these people,
fathers and their fathers' fathers.
right? Like, oh man, don't make me pull it out. Like, I was reading it yesterday. No, I'm telling you, it cracks me the hell up. Like, I feel, I'm certainly
The Old
no
Testament
prophet.
was forced into the Bible in the 300s, wasn't it?
Yes,
Right?
because the original Christians weren't even called Christians. That was actually a derogatory term.
Yeah.
So the real disciples of Christ, okay, were essentially Essenes and Gnostics.
Yeah, they got rid of them.
And so, like, okay, the word sacrifice is in the Old Testament 310 times. Okay? That is a fact. 310 times the word sacrifice is there. Okay, so what is that about? Well, like I said, you go to Leviticus, which is my favorite book, by the way. Basically, from what I can tell, is Judaism is an AD religion that comes from something older. Okay, because I believe that in the beginning, all religions were true.
Nice,
And
Adam.
they slowly were taken over. See, this is what I think. I don't believe that the Illuminati or the Jesuits or whatever created these religions. They're not that smart. They infiltrated and perverted them. Okay, so this is why I say that regardless if Caesar's Messiah is true, which I believe it is, and it was about, you know, uh, Caesar and his battles or whatever, and they impose that on Jesus, people are like, oh, well, that proves it's all untrue. To me, that's proof that it is true. Because what they did is they imposed a story of astrotheology and war onto the original teachings.
Yeah.
And I got plenty of verses to back that up.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so,
you look at the Jewish religion itself. They went into captivity, and their religion was basically taken from them, and then they rewrote it in captivity, and then they were released from captivity, and I think they even modified it again after that. It went through many
yes,
changes and many
yes,
evolutions. I don't know what remains of the original. I don't think anybody does really.
Leviticus. And the Lord called on to Moses. You want my opinion? Moses is what screwed everything up. That's why Jesus says that he saw through a veil. It's the 5 books of Moses that are the problem. It's really funny because if you look through the Bible, it'll say one thing, okay,
Yeah.
like about these sacrifices and all this terrible shit that everybody wants to just pass over because it's God, so he's allowed to do it, right? But then if you look at these other books in the Old Testament, God is saying, what the hell are you doing? Why are you giving me these sacrifices? They make me sick. They do not please me. Who told you to do this? But then you look at Leviticus and it's saying, I love it. And this is how you should prepare it. And you should sprinkle the blood 7 times. I was reading it yesterday. It's mind blowing.
Wow.
It says, and the Lord called unto Moses and spake unto him of the tabernacle of the congregation, saying, speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, if any man of you bring an offering unto the Lord, ye shall bring your offering of the cattle, even of the herd and of the flock. if his offering be a burnt sacrifice of the herd, let him offer a male without blemish. He shall offer it of his own voluntary will at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before the Lord. And he shall put his hand upon the head of the burnt offering, and it shall be accepted for him to make atonement for him. And he shall kill the bullock before the Lord. And the priests, Aaron's son, shall bring the blood and sprinkle the blood round about upon the altar. Right? It also says they're casting lots, which is divination. Okay, I thought that was bad. No, it's not bad. It's just bad if you don't do it to anyone but Yalda Bayoff. It's okay if you sacrifice. It's okay if you do divination. You just can't do sacrifice or divination to anyone but Yaldi. So then it goes on. Just to let you know. And he shall flay the burnt offering and cut it into pieces. And the sons of Aaron, the priest, shall put fire upon the altar and lay the wood in order upon the fire. And the priest, Aaron's son, shall lay the parts, the head and the fat, in order upon the wood that is on the fire which is upon the altar. But his inwards and his legs shall he wash in water. And the priest shall burn all on the altar to be a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire of a sweet savor unto the Lord. So he's getting off on it. And if his offering be of the flocks, namely of the sheep or of the goats, this is how Satan became the goat. That's a whole other fucking story. Wait for that one. For a burnt sacrifice, he shall bring it a male without blemish, and he shall kill it on the side of the altar northward. That is ritual, as clear as day. Even to the point, he shall kill it on the side of the altar northward. You know, the north is considered darkness in every occult order, just by the way. And the priest Aaron's son shall sprinkle his blood upon the altar, and he shall cut it into pieces with his head and his fat. And the priest shall lay them in order on the wood that is on the fire which is upon the altar. And if the burnt sacrifice for his offering to the Lord be of fowls, then he shall bring his offering of turtle doves or of young pigeons. What the fuck? And the priest shall bring it onto the altar and wring off his head and burn it on the altar. And the blood thereof shall be wrung out at the side of the altar.
This is beautiful.
It is. And he
Mhm.
shall pluck away the crop with his feathers and cast it beside the altar on the east part by the place of the. If this isn't a ritual, I don't know what is.
I'm getting a warm, fuzzy feeling inside.
Me too.
Yeah.
I really want to get on my knees. And he shall cleave it with the wings thereof, but shall not divide it asunder. And the priest shall burn it upon the altar, upon the wood that is upon the fire. It is a burnt sacrifice, an offering by fire of a sweet savor unto the Lord.
Oh,
So
beautiful.
he loves it. He
Beautiful.
savors it. He thinks it's wonderful.
I'm overwhelmed.
It makes him happy.
Well, yeah. Remember, Noah came out from the ark and burnt some meat, and the who came around like flies?
Yeah. You know, there's 7 verses in the Bible that talk about Jesus casting demons out by the order of Beelzebub. What's really interesting is Jesus never denies it. Check this. Oh, man. Okay. Matthew 12.
By Beelzebub.
By Beelzebub. Yeah. They were saying that Jesus was casting out demons by the order of Beelzebub. Now, see, this is just more evidence that Jesus is nothing like we're told. So let's go on. Let's go to the Word. Let's go to the Bible because the Bible explains itself, right? So let's do that. At the time, Jesus went on the Sabbath day, through the corn, and his
Do anything
disciples
on the
were
Sabbath.
hungered. No, Jesus didn't seem to give a shit. And his disciples were hungered and began to pluck the ears of corn and to eat.
Oh man.
But when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto him, Behold, thy disciples do that which is not lawful to do upon the Sabbath day.
Really?
But he
Did they
said
grow
unto
corn? Did they grow corn in the Middle East?
I guess so.
Apparently. Yeah.
But he said unto them, Have ye not read what David did when he was hungered, and they that were with him, how he entered into the house of God, and did eat the shewbread, which was not lawful for him to eat, neither for them which were with him, but only for the priests. Here we go. Or have ye not read in the law how that on the Sabbath days the priests in the temple profane the Sabbath and are blameless? But I say unto you that in this place is one greater than the temple. Jesus was Satan to them, quite literally.
Mm-hmm.
But I say unto you that in this place is one greater than the temple. He's talking about the Holy of Holies. But if ye had known what this meaneth, I will have mercy and not sacrifice, ye would not have condemned the guiltless. For the Son of Man is Lord even on the Sabbath day. And when he was departed thence, he went into their synagogue. Here we go. And behold, there was a man which had his hand withered. And they asked him, saying, Is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath days? Are you serious? That they might accuse him. And he said unto them, What man shall there be among you that shall have one sheep, and if it fall into a pit on the Sabbath day, will he not lay hold on it and lift it out? How much then is a man better than a sheep? Wherefore it is lawful to do well on the Sabbath days. Then saith he to the man, Stretch forth thine hand. And he stretched it forth, and it was restored whole, like as the other. Then the Pharisees went out and held a council against him, how they might destroy him. Can it be any clearer, people? But when Jesus knew it, he withdrew himself from thence. So he's dodging and diving like a freaking uh, basketball player because they're trying to kill him.
Yeah.
Every other chapter, they're talking about how Jesus has to go
Yeah.
because they want him dead,
How he slips away.
and charged them that they should not make him known. So he was in secret. That's what it's telling you. That it might be fulfilled which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying, Behold my servant who I am chosen, my beloved, in whom my soul is well pleased. I will put my spirit upon him, and he shall shew judgment to the Gentiles. He shall not strive nor cry, neither shall any man hear his voice in the streets. A bruised reed shall he not break, and smoking flax shall he not quench, till he send forth judgment unto victory. And in his name shall the Gentiles trust. Then was brought unto him one possessed with a devil, blind and dumb, and he healed them, insomuch that the blind and dumb both spake and saw. And all the people were amazed and said, Is not this the son of David? But when the Pharisees heard it, they said, This fellow doth not cast out devils, but by Beelzebub, the prince of the devils. And Jesus knew their thoughts, so they didn't even freaking say it. And said unto him, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? And if by Beelzebub cast out devils, by whom do your children cast them out? He's saying, okay, so who do you go to?
Yeah.
Therefore, not my God. Therefore, these shall be your judges. But if I cast out devils by the Spirit of God, then the kingdom of God is come unto you. Or else, how can one enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house? He that is not with him he that is not with me is against me, and he that gathereth not with me scattereth abroad. Wherefore I say unto you, all manner of sin and blasphemy shall be forgiven unto men, but the blasphemy against the Holy Spirit shall not be forgiven unto men. And whosoever speaketh a word against the Son of Man, it shall be forgiven him. But whosoever speaketh against the Holy Ghost, it shall not be forgiven him, neither in this world, neither in the world to come. Either make the tree good and his fruit good, or else the tree corrupt and his fruit corrupt. For the tree is known by his fruit. O generation of vipers, how can ye, being evil, speak good things? For out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaketh. A good man out of the good treasure of the heart bringeth forth good things, and an evil man out of the evil treasure bringeth forth evil things. But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account therefore in the day of judgment. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. Then certain of the scribes and of the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, we would see a sign from thee. But he answered and said unto them, An evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and therefore shall no sign be given to it, but the sign of the prophet. For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. The man of Nineveh, Babylon, shall rise in judgment with this generation, and shall condemn it, because they repented at the preaching of Jonas. And behold, a greater than Jonas is here. The queen of the south shall rise up in the judgment with this generation, and shall condemn it. For she came from the utmost parts of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon.
So
And
much
behold, a
symbology in
greater,
that.
yes, and behold, a greater than Solomon is here. So he's saying, yeah, I understand what you're all saying, but I'm greater.
Yeah.
That's really what's happening. When the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest, and findeth none. Then he saith, I will return to my house from whence I came out. And when he is come, he findeth empty, swept, and garnished. Then goeth he and taketh with himself 7 other spirits, more wicked than himself, and they enter in and dwell there. And the last state of that man is worse than the first. Even shall it also be also unto this wicked generation. While yet he talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak with him. Then one said unto him, Behold, thy mother and thy brethren stand without, desiring to speak with thee. Listen to what he says. But he answered and said unto him that told him, Who is my mother, and who are my brethren? And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples and said, Behold, my mother and my brethren! Exclamation point. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother. So that's what Jesus had to say.
All are one.
Does that sound like you know what that other guy was saying? And I could go on and on, but it's clear as day, man.
Yeah.
The same people that are in control. This goes so much further than religion
Vipers.
and belief.
He called them vipers.
He called them a generation of vipers.
Yeah.
He said their father was from below. He said that Moses
Hey,
saw through a
Max.
veil.
Max.
No man ever saw him. No man ever saw his father nor came near him, because he dwelled in unapproachable light. And he said, My followers know that they're blind. Because you believe that you see, you can never know the truth. You must first know that you're blind so that then you will see. So this is what I'm saying. He was way over their head. So the Illuminati did not create that. I'm absolutely 110% convinced. They manipulated it like he said they would.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. You get out of Christianity and Judaism and all that,
Yeah.
and you become an occultist like me, okay? And you start studying everything and you start hating Christianity, and then you do a full circle and realize, you know, I never really had a problem with that Jesus guy. I just
Yeah.
had a problem with what they said about him. And didn't he say that? And then you look at the people who run the world, these Talmudists,
I think it was
and then
Mahatma
you read
Gandhi
their holy
said,
books.
I have no problem with the Christ, it's the Christians, or something like that.
Yeah,
You know?
I've never had a problem with the figure of Christ.
No.
Yeah, exactly. So we know the Christ is within
Hmm.
because he told us. But
Well,
all that I
he would
know
know the
about
Krishna.
the all all that I know about the Bible and how it was manipulated and Caesar's Messiah and the corporations and King James, and
Mhm.
all that. Still, if you understand and study to show thyself approved, and you look not for the dead letter, which kills, but the spirit that gives life, then it really doesn't matter. See, this is the mind fuck. Learning all of this, distancing myself from all religion, essentially becoming atheist in the sense of God's in the sky, okay, actually brought me closer to Christ.
Mhm.
Learning how this
Well,
all was manipulated, learning how they use revelation and all that to scare the hell out of people, and hellfire, which by the way, hell is a modern concept. It's a very ancient one. It goes back to like Egypt and Samaria and stuff, but it wasn't the same thing. They distorted it. It was the underworld, which, as we know, like Inanna descending into the underworld, Jesus, the harrowing of hell. Jesus went for 3 days, right? And what
yep.
did he do? He took the keys. Don't even get me started. But what that is, that ties back to Enoch. But that's, you know. And then you find, where did the book of Enoch come from? The book of Enoch came from the Ethiopian Christians and Jews. But then you find out that they have a tradition that's pre-Talmudic.
Yeah, I was gonna
They weren't
mention the
influenced by it.
control of religion has been uh, and manipulation of religion has been going on for 2,000 years, probably 4,000 in some areas. There were areas
I think it started
pre
with
2000
Zoroaster.
that were free, but the Roman soldiers and the Roman gladiators took care of that. But
But
there was at
the
one time, I think, a worldwide religion, or just knowledge. Really, it was just knowledge. It wasn't religion,
absolutely.
and it contained everything. Everything that's in the Bible is of that knowledge. But as you say, it's manipulated and
Yes.
skewed.
But my thing is I got to a point to where I wasn't sure myself if Jesus really existed. And I went through that doubting phase.
Hmm.
And I'm glad I did. It was very important. But the more I realized how it was manipulated, I got to a point to where I asked myself, why?
Yeah,
Why is it that everybody wants to give you a different story about this man? What what is it? There must be something powerful here.
yeah. When I
So
was
like I
young,
said,
I
staying with
understood, but I was taught not to understand when I was young.
right,
I understood the
it's
Christ
wrong.
in and that God was in, and no, I was told I was wrong. So I did understand spirituality. I studied Wiccan and Druidism in my 20s, and
Yeah.
then I kind of left that because it wasn't spiritually fulfilling. So I was sitting in church with my wife one day because I had agreed that I would go to church to support her. I didn't say that I supported the church. I told her that right off the bat. But I was sitting there and I was being lied to by the priest, and because I was actually listening at that point, and
Don't do that.
which I usually didn't. And I just the thought came in my head, no, I've got to find the Christ. So that set me on my journey to find the Christ within.
I I
Hey,
don't know how
Desert
to say
Rose.
this exactly. I don't exactly know how to say this because I'm still trying to figure it out. But I actually had a direct experience with what I would call a Christic energy, and it telepathically communicated to me.
Hmm.
And it
Cool.
was the most profound experience I ever had.
Yeah.
And in the experience, this is in 2012, and as time's gone on, I've been able to put it together because when it happened, it was totally insane. Like I didn't know how to make
Hmm.
sense of it.
Yeah,
It
everybody
was
gets
shamanic.
once you're on the path and you start having strange feelings and strange experiences, you know you're getting it right. You know.
It was so wild, man, and it was a shamanic experience. It was very deliberate and intentional,
Hmm.
and basically, it told me, it showed me. Okay, and I have aphantasia. I saw that day. I
Hmm.
saw everything, and like what it basically told me is we're in all this together,
Yeah.
and it showed me like the terror that was to come,
The
and like
awareness. Yeah.
I literally felt like I was going to die.
Oh.
My heart was pounding out of my chest, and I was looking around, and I was seeing, like, it was showing me things from the past, the future, the present. I
Hmm.
was hearing voices of people I knew, and everything else in this experience was totally normal. There was nothing like outrageous. I wasn't hallucinating.
Wasn't a
It was just
psychotic
like I was
episode. Yeah.
no, I would call it what I call it, a moment of eternity,
Hmm.
to where I actually stepped out of time and I was being shown things in my own life, people that I knew, people, experiences that I had, and it basically was whispering to me, "Don't be surprised when friend becomes foe and foe becomes friend.
Hmm.
Don't be surprised when the mask comes off." And it was like the wheat and tares. And he was basically telling me, like, "Yeah, you're right. Religion is
Hmm.
poisonous. This is
Yeah.
not what I wanted to get across." And it was just the most transform. Like, I cried so hard inside, man. Like,
Yeah.
I never felt so much empathy because, Max, I felt peace, but I
That's
wasn't
what
happy.
that's what I call a raising in awareness, or my funny term for it is leveling up, like in Mario Brothers.
I
It's
felt
beautiful.
euphoria. I
Yeah.
felt euphoria, but I
Yeah.
also felt like I was going to die.
Hmm.
And
I
I
didn't
was
feel that
like,
when I felt euphoria, but I
I,
understood that
it
I
was,
was going to die. My awareness
it
increased, and
was
I felt oneness.
wild.
I felt the oneness with
Well,
everything for a really long time. I still
well,
feel it, but after
well,
a
I
while,
think,
you settle into these feelings. You know.
I think the reason why I felt that is because I felt like, okay, I'm all right. But I was looking around at the chaos of the world
Yeah.
because it was showing me. And people
Awareness.
were
Yeah.
like, I heard voices saying, we're gonna make it. We're just gonna make it. We're barely gonna make it." Like, people were like freaking out. It was like almost like I was being shown the apocalypse. It was nuts.
You
I
started getting
never had an
connected with
experience like
people's
that.
thoughts and dreams and hopes and
Yes, that's
fears.
exactly what it was.
Yeah.
I was hearing people talking about me.
You
I
felt the
was seeing,
oneness.
like, dude, and I was
Hmm.
I was feeling great, but I was just like, no, I don't want it
Mm.
because I don't want to be. I felt like I was the only one, and it was
Well,
terrifying.
you are separate at that point. You almost are completely separate because you're being the observer. And it is like taking yourself out of time and space. And because you can look at a person and just read their thoughts, their life, feel their their emotions, feel their experiences as a cumulative life path. And my God, yeah, overwhelming, overwhelming. If you, yeah, if you fall into some of their thoughts and some of their fears, which a lot of them have, most people run around in fear. It's terrible. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, wow. That
I felt like I
experience can
understood.
be
Like,
can be bad, yes, but it
I,
is
I
beautiful at the same time. Once
it was
you,
beautifully tragic.
yeah,
It was
But
euphoric. I
you have
called,
to realize it's all temporary anyway. It's all
yeah,
temporary.
but I just felt like, and then I started thinking again about religion. And it's like,
Hmm.
so what? Because they don't believe that, everyone's going to suffer? I'm like, this
And the
shit
horrors
is
of the
not
trap.
right.
Yeah, the horror of the trap.
And it was basically real. Dude, I was talking in different voices. I
Hmm.
was like tapping into my ancestors. People would look at me like, what the hell is going on? They thought I was possessed or something. Because I was talking in Irish and Italian, and I was like, we need to stick together. We need to do this. This is wrong. This is what Jesus was about. And I was just, dude, like, I was so just
Yeah,
overwhelmed.
you were
But it was
open.
beautiful because I
You were
understood
very
the
open.
truth.
You were very open, and you may have let too much in at once. That's all.
I I
But
I understood.
that will teach you to have
But
control too.
I had, like I said, I had this great euphoria. But I was like, it's not worth it if I'm the only one. And I screamed that.
But you're
What
not.
is it worth?
You're not. You're not the
No,
only
but I
one.
was, like I said, I was just seeing
I
chaos
know.
all
You
around
feel
me.
alone at that time. I was walking with my wife. I was for a month. I was in a state of connectedness and euphoria, and I was walking around. I didn't feel connected to her because I could see so clearly that you feel like you're not a part of it, because you're observing everything that's going on and you see it all. It is overwhelming at times. Yeah,
Yeah, I feel like it was trying to show me the truth. Like that,
it was. Yes.
not only that I was right and that it
Yeah.
was wrong to judge anybody based on their religion or, whatever, really,
Yeah.
but
Well, they've been tricked
it
and
was
trapped.
showing me the pain that
Yeah.
people go through by buying this poison
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
drinking it.
It's painful.
And like I said, like I was seeing people I knew, like their faces, like it was like I guess it was a vision. I've never had one, so it's kind of weird, but
Kaleidoscope
it
of
really
faces
was.
going by.
I had no control over it, Max.
Oh,
There was no beginning, middle, or end. I
yeah.
couldn't think myself out of it. It was like, you got to see this now. And it was like some Matrix shit because, like I said, it was out of time. I
Hmm.
call it a moment of eternity. It's one of the most profound experiences I ever had.
Hmm.
And when I came out of it, I was laughing and smiling and everything, but I was just like, this is, it was almost like it was showing me that people are creating their own hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had the peace and I was like, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
And then all I could think of is Jesus wept.
I think that may have been one
Because
of the reasons I was
how
so glom to remote viewing, because it does seem to give me control instead of just like feeling what other people are feeling when I look at them and seeing what their thoughts are and stuff. If I have to put a number in front of it in my head, it doesn't, I don't just absorb it, you know? I didn't like just absorbing it all, I, you know, reading people's
euphoric
pain
chaos.
and, yeah, no. So yeah, putting a
It
number in front of, between me and and my third eye and the stuff coming in seemed to kind of help.
well, I just had two friends die on me that I've known since I was 15.
Sorry to hear that.
It's okay.
But
You
yeah,
know that I've been telling you, like everyone I know is essentially gone.
yeah, it
This
might
is this
be the
is like
future for a lot of us.
right. And sometimes I wonder, like, why am I the one here? And it's just like I feel like, almost like all this death is itself a lesson for me in this life.
Hmm.
It's part of my karma, which is cause and effect.
Yeah.
It's not punishment. It's not reward. It's not the divine doesn't operate that
To me, what I see when I see people doing the things they do to themselves, I see them killing themselves. They are literally killing themselves. You know, it's horrible to see. You
They
These
get
people
so
should not
lost.
be like this. And the I see the true self in people too, which is even can be saddening too, because you see the potential if they weren't so manipulated and you know and attacked, and you see the potential that these people could be. It's very sad.
Yeah,
It's so sad.
we'll see. What's ironic is after that experience for like 6 months to a year, I tried to do. I was almost new age, okay, but it was real.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to listen to any music other than
Yeah, I
like
didn't need any music. I didn't need
tribal.
everything was just that I listened to was beautiful. It was awesome.
It was like
Every sound,
everything I watched on
every color.
TV. I just saw like behind the veil of what it really was, and it made me so sick that I just didn't want to. Like they talk about low vibrations. They're like I felt things so hard, man.
Hmm.
Like I went into a rage. I like tapped into my Native American ancestry or something, and I was like, "What the hell were we doing?" I couldn't drink anything but water. I couldn't, and this is what I'm trying to tell you. Like now I'm Luciferian, so I've gone all the way into the light and all the way into the dark, and to me that's necessary. Okay,
Hmm.
because I realized that you know just because I feel all this empathy and really do
Yeah,
want
seeing the darkness,
to
I think, is important, but I try not to experience it. You know.
see, I do because, like I said, the darkness is only light that isn't seen.
Hmm.
So really, there is no darkness. It's our perception. And so, like I said, with these initiatory rites, when I work with Lilith or Lucifer or Amun or Kali or Freya or whatever, like they are a deific mask for myself.
Hmm.
And so these archetypes, okay, when understood, these systems of symbols, okay, all they do is put your they put you in an altered state of consciousness
Yeah.
so that you're able to perceive things that you weren't able to before. And then the magic is that you transform your energy, okay? And by transforming your energy, opportunities that normally would have never been possible,
Hmm.
encounters that never would have been possible, destruction if needed. If you say, please take away everything that I don't need, and then all of a sudden you lose a lot of friends, and it's like, oh no, it's evil, it destroyed my life. No, it's letting you know, stay the hell away from them. There's something better for you. And that's what happened to me. Remember, I told you I lost my place. I lost my best friend who turned on me. Okay. Uh, and I had to move from Florida to Pennsylvania because my parents were sick. And
Yeah.
then I had family dying all around me. Right. So that's terrible.
That's horrible.
But at the same time,
Yeah.
it needed to happen. I mean, I didn't
Yeah.
want them to
Feeling.
die, obviously,
Yeah.
but
Nobody really wants to have the lesson of learning to deal with loss, but
it's powerful.
yeah, we need to do that though.
When I'm gonna tell you this, when I lost everything, man, I never felt more free. And that's when I started to understand. You have to let
That's an
go of
uncomfortable one
everything
for everybody to learn, is dealing with loss. It's,
that doesn't serve you. You have to let go. And if that's
yeah,
people, that's a job, that's whatever it is that's keeping you from your true will.
yeah.
Do without will is the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love with the will. What that really means is to find the one thing, your purpose. What ignites you the most? What gives you the most passion? What gives you the most joy? And to do that and only that, to perfect it as much as you can, and to put
Mm.
all your devotion and all your energy and all your work and all your attention and whatever it is to accomplish that one thing. It doesn't mean do what you want. Nothing could be farther from the truth. I'm not going to get into the Crowley, uh, spiel, but yeah, that he was dangerous, and so they made him look like something he never was. But the point of the matter is what he said and what Thelema is really about, and that that's it. What is not the ego's desires,
Hmm.
not the instant gratification, not our human wiles, not happiness. Because happiness is transitory. People say they want happiness. No, you don't. You don't want pleasure. You don't want happiness. That's transitory. You want joy. You want bliss. That means that no matter what you're doing, you're happy. You're blissful. It doesn't matter what's going on around you. Sadhguru talks about this. I love him. I actually almost judged him, and then I took a second look. He's the real deal. He did a video called "You Can Never Know the Creator, but You
He's
Can
funny.
Experience It."
He's funny too. He's
He's
got a
great.
great sense of humor.
He does, because he's a true enlightened being.
Yes, he's very practical.
Yeah, I've had a few experiences. What made me realize he was real is I was listening to him one day, and I was having one of those experiences where it was like God was looking at me in the eye. Like, yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I see you. Yeah, this is. It's like, well, how the hell would he know that? I've thought about that. I myself was able to detach to that point. To relate. He says people are trying to figure out all these things. We can't understand a friggin' leaf. We know what it is to a degree, but we don't know how it got there.
Yeah,
We don't
I
know where
like
all
how
the
he does
patterns came
not.
from.
I like his honesty in that respect. If
We don't know anything.
do you know God? Tell us about God. Well,
Yeah. Yeah, they were asking him, what about religion? What about God? He's like, look, in India, we don't have any answers. We just have questions. And I was like, yeah,
well,
that's exactly it.
in all other religions, they call him the ineffable, the incomprehensible, the unknowable. So, how well do you know God? Tell me of God, the unknowable, the ineffable, the
I feel like he's not far from what Jesus was trying to do.
yeah,
Really?
yeah.
I mean,
Where is God? He's in all of us, and he's in everything. So explain everything in all of us.
and he talks about true will too, just in a different way.
Mhm,
Find the one thing
mhm.
that enlivens you, that sparks you. And what it is the trick is that people are told they can't do what they really want to do, and that's actually what causes suffering. Suffering is when you are doing something you're not supposed to, in the sense of divine will.
Well, we're in a
Daemon.
construct system where they've made that very difficult.
Well, they tell you it's impossible, and you have to live by their rules and their instructions and their you know.
Yeah,
And the fact of the matter is, when you're able to do what it is you really want to do, then you're blissful 24/7.
It's getting there.
That's the key.
That's the hard part. That's all.
Yes. He says, just sit. Just sit.
Mm-hmm.
24 hours. I haven't done it yet. I did for like 8 hours though. I was 8 hours meditation.
Mm-hmm.
That was insane because it felt like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It was incredible. I honestly didn't think I could do it. But yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter, like he says, the until you understand, you know nothing. You have no possibility of ever understanding anything. Because when you say you don't know, that opens all possibility. Everything opens up. And then you have the capacity to actually know. But if you think you already know everything, you're never going to get anywhere.
Yeah. That's why I believe in
What part?
possibilities. Possibilities are one of the best things to think of. When I have a thought, I automatically try and think of the opposing thought and all the ones in between. I try not to limit myself to my own preferences, and then after time, you don't really have them because you've just taken so many positions. Um, you're not really affected by emotion in a situation because your perception is open, your possibilities are open. You're not limited to one line of thought. You can see all thoughts and all possibilities in everything and anything. And
At
that's
all
just
angles.
yeah,
It's beautiful.
yeah.
And that's the one thing that they fear most.
Yeah. They,
To
they
be
they tell
unfazed.
they tell you to walk a mile in somebody else's shoes before you judge them, and you know what? You can do that. And once you do that a few times, you really get some perspective.
I can honestly declare that I have never, ever, ever judged anyone outside of watching patterns. But to me, that's not judgment, that's analysis. If
I
you
used
see
to judge
someone do
people.
something 50 times, they're probably going to do it 51 times. You know,
Hmm.
if you see someone's character and their intentions, you know, it's
I
pretty
used to
clear.
judge
I
people
don't see that.
before I understood that they are manipulated. Um,
There's also that.
you know,
You never know what someone's went through that made them that way.
hey Pamela Jean, yeah, everything's good. I'm
You never
multi-streaming
know.
to different platforms now.
You never know what someone's actually been through
Yeah,
that made them that way.
yeah. Why did they react that way to you? Well, you didn't live their life, so you don't know. But you can, with practice, you can understand their life.
And then when you get real deep, this was another thing. This had me on my knees, literally. Not in worship in the normal sense. The word worship actually means originally not to get down on your knees and beg and plead, but actually what you give worth to.
What you work
It's
at.
a reverence. It's a reverence. It's something that you acknowledge and praise in the sense of you realize its importance and its significance. It's something that you spend energy on to give worth. That's what it really meant. And then they twisted it. bowing down and putting your hands like that actually has nothing to do with God at all. That has to do with the Lord of the manor.
No one's path is the
That
same.
has to do with
That's right.
royalty. People don't realize that. That actually has absolutely nothing to do with God or the divine. It has to do with the Lord, as in the master. You better bow to the king or you might not breathe air. In Ireland, they had little windows. Everyone thinks they're all cute and lovely. They don't understand they had little windows because they were only allowed to breathe so much of the king's air.
Yep. Window taxes too. You're only
Yeah.
allowed so much light. The light was taxed in your house.
Well, I mean, they do it now too, just in different ways.
Yeah.
They want to buy the freaking Great Lakes and sell them to you in plastic bottles.
Yep. I always thought they would ship it down to Arizona, just put it in a pipeline and pump it down to Arizona or Las Vegas.
Right?
Got to grow fruit in the desert, But what we'll do is we'll grow fruit in the desert and we'll build houses on the land that's good for crops.
Well, see, another thing is, man, is when you
I live
go
on
deep enough into
I live on prime cropland. This area used to all be orchards: apple, plum, cherry, uh, pear, all of it. Now it's all housing. Does
it, you,
that make sense?
yeah, when you get deep enough into this, though, and
Yeah.
you start to not judge, this is something that really fucked me up in a way, but it opened me up too.
Hmm.
Is the more you study all the evil that's going on in the world, okay, and you actually look at the people that are involved with this, and they're not the ones in power; they're the puppets, okay. But then you realize that
They're
the
capricious.
real top level people are from the time they're born, tortured, manipulated, programmed.
Yep.
And so even the people who are doing these horrible things are themselves victims.
Absolutely.
And that's a mind fuck. That's a heart clencher.
Yep.
That's literally, forgive them, Father, they know not what they do. Because they've been MK Ultra since they were 2 years old.
Yep.
And
Exposed
I
to
got the data.
horrors and things we couldn't even imagine.
Torture, human trafficking, all that fun stuff. Yeah,
Hmm.
and more.
Yep.
The Podesta stuff, all the stuff,
Yep.
that's their daily life.
Yep. It's a dehumanization of others, and they do it quite successfully in the past. The Japanese and Chinese dehumanized each other. They called each other's dogs, and that made it okay to kill them. And we do it all. We did it all over the place. That type of dehumanization. It's pathetic, and people go for it, which is even worse.
Ideological
Unfortunately,
subversion,
yeah,
communism, man.
yeah,
That's what the Illuminati is, a communist organization. They created communism. That's why they were birthed on May 1st, which is May Day. But what people don't understand is communism is not a political system, it's an occult system. That's the reality. Communism is not
that's got
political,
questions.
it hides behind political
Hmm.
systems, but it's not. It was created by the Illuminati themselves
Cool.
as
Good
a
enough.
form of occult control.
I knew they promoted it like as an ideology through people.
And they just gave Marx the permission to publicly, discuss it 100 years later. But
I
it
love
was
your
already
argument there.
and this is all backed up. This is all documented. There was a book, Fire in the Minds of Men: Origins of the Revolutionary Faith by James R. Billington. And he was the chief librarian of the Library of Congress. And he explained how all these secret societies that were basically originally mystery schools that were for the upliftment of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is the thing. These mystery schools were
Infiltrated.
actually a good thing.
And they were infiltrated and destroyed.
Yes. And
You know,
so
they
the
talk,
people started to...
the name
Go ahead.
Jesus or Iesus used to be a common name in the past because you would have your birth name, but many people would go to these mystery schools. And upon initiation, you would choose a new name. And oftentimes people chose the name Iesus. At least that's what I've heard.
Yeah. And there was actually a Druidic god, Iesus.
And you can look up, there was a King Jesus. I think he was Persian though. But yeah, so the
It
name
was
isn't entirely unique. There's a bug on the floor and my
and
cat sees
that's
it.
how they perverted.
Yeah,
Yes. The reason why we don't know where Jesus was and when he lived and all that is because he probably wasn't born when they said he was. He
well, that's why
probably
you
didn't live
separate.
when they said he did.
Yeah, you separate the religions too, because then that makes Krishna evil or Jesus evil to to others,
Right?
and it's
Yeah.
it's
And Allah
it's a
and
psyop. It's a big psyop.
in my eyes it all started with Zoroastrianism
Mm-hmm.
because that was the first religion on earth that separated good and evil as ultimate forces
Mm-hmm.
to where literally everything was either good or evil. I mean, everything. And that
Cool.
was never a thing because ancient paganism was animistic. Everything was order and chaos, like nature.
Yeah.
There was no boogeyman.
Well, there was
There was no.
apparently Santos was talking one time about a man. I can't remember his name,
I love
um,
him.
but this man went around and he collected all the teachings, and he started revamping them and reinstituting them instead of being theological, astrological, and alchemical to being physical. So where the stories became, no, this man here, we've got the historical evidence here. We'll show you. No, this man was here at this time, and they made the stories into real physical things that people could fight over. No, because this
Yes.
this is the right guy, and he was here, not over there. You know, and that allowed for divide and conquer, like Capolicious says here.
Me, me and Seven Serpents years ago actually
Mm-hmm.
did a video on my channel that I called. Shoot, I could pick it up. I could look it up, but I think it was like the infernal philosophy, the
Mm-hmm.
materialization of spirit, to where basically they turn everything that was spiritual material. Like you have
Mm-hmm.
a sky palace, right? With streets of gold,
And not that there isn't
right?
a earthly element to probably all the teachings, but you know,
Oh yeah, but they made everything like you're saying that was spiritual material.
yeah,
And then you get into Darwinism and what that was really about, which is a religion. Okay, Darwin was not an atheist. Uh, you know, it,
hmm
man,
yeah.
it was so deep.
For me to get a true handle on like understanding religions and the actually understanding the spiritual teachings. Took me to go into multiple different religions to understand the chakra system, understand the Christ within. The Nordics and all that has taught me about creation and science, and you take bits, like they all have the teachings, but they seem like you don't seem to be missing them. Some of them are so better hidden than others. So I took everything and put it all together and pulled the missing bits in my mind out of other things and put them all together. The teachings are out there, but they've distorted them and skewed them so that you can't get a complete understanding. Like for example, say, the Indians, they understand the chakra system and meditation, but the Christians, they only understand the Christ. They don't understand
Look,
the
man.
importance of the chakra system, but it is expressed in there in the Technicolor
Oh, it
Dreamcoat,
won't.
but not very clearly. Not as clearly as it is expressed in Vedic or Indian teachings.
Look, man. Me with no hair. Can you imagine? See, the infernal philosophy, the materialization of spirit. 2017.
Yeah,
Wow, man. Time flies.
it does. I probably saw that video.
It was. It was a while ago. It was really good though, man.
Yeah.
But we were talking about how these people pretend to be atheists, but they really understand.
Hmm.
And you know, all the glory of God, give to the church, right? So what are the blessings of the Lord? The blessings of the Lord are material things, right? And it never was that. That's why Jesus kicked them out of the temple. That's why uh, uh, Simon Magus killed himself because he tried to buy the Holy Spirit, right? That was the
I
whole
don't know that
thing. He
story.
tried
I
to
don't know that
purchase it.
story. That's interesting.
Yeah, Simon Magus tried to buy. Man, get me started
Oh,
again. I got to get the Satanic Bible too, so I can balance this
right, Desert
because it's
Rose.
nothing like people think at all. Anton LaVey was not an evil man. Uh, it it actually says in the Satanic Bible that going against somebody's will is a satanic sin. I'm not kidding. Like
Hmm.
they've twisted everything. Originally, Satanism was actually uh, set up in order to destroy all the programming that that
Mm.
it makes us slaves to you know this imaginary system, and they had a great understanding of it.
Hmm.
Michael Aquino of the Temple of Set was talking about 9/11 and UFOs,
Really?
and so yeah.
Wow.
So this is what they do, man. They all the evil. All you gotta know is all the stuff that looks evil is probably good, and all the stuff that looks good is probably evil, because that's what they've done.
Yep.
Evil doesn't come in the guise of evil. That's stupid. Evil comes in the name of love. You know, again with the
Heyo.
New Age movement, just what you resist persists. Just let the world burn, right? It's no different than Jesus coming in the rapture and everything can burn and die and there can be earthquakes and come, Lord Jesus, come. It's insane.
Yeah.
Forget the earth, forget what we're doing to each other. It don't matter because I know the truth because my pastor told me so. And I gave him 10% of my check every week.
Right. Capital issues. Yeah.
And I love the church. Like, it's insane. And that's That's the reality, man. Like I said, you want Satanism, it's Judaic Satanism. It's called the Talmud. And it's Satanism because in the Old Testament, and if you talk to any Jew, they will tell you Satan is not a being at all. It never was, it never will be. It
It's a
is
title. Well, it's a
a
title
title, and it
for
is,
one.
yeah,
It could be
yeah.
like an egregor, a thought energy form created by people, but I don't think that would have
Yeah,
much
it is
power.
now. It is now, but it never was before.
No, I
Like
wouldn't think it would be.
it
Not
was.
when
Remember,
they were teaching
Satan was an
knowledge and not
angel of
teaching religion.
God. Read Job. Read Job. God and Satan were just fine.
Oh yeah, they were good together,
They didn't
and
have a
both of them
problem
were
with
rat
each other.
bastards because they were both gambling.
You got
So
it.
and gambling with Job's life. So just kind of give you a different perspective on that. They were sinning by gambling, and they were both okay with hurting a person.
Yeah.
So was that a good or evil God? Well,
Well, exactly.
if you make them physical and you
That's
make them like us, then I don't know. I could kind of see them both evil. But if you make them the energy, the forces of nature, the events that happen, well, they're neither good or evil. They're teaching lessons and seeing if you can still believe that there is a God. You know.
yes. So, like I said, there's more than one God in the Old Testament,
Mm-hmm.
and it's clear as day because, like I said, the only other explanation is that he's schizophrenic because he's asking for sacrifices and saying that he savors them and he loves them and how to cut them up and how to spread the blood. And you heard what I was saying, and it gets worse. I just stopped.
Well,
It's
all
just
is
disgusting,
well. They teach that everything is God, all is God, but
right?
then God fights with himself as Satan
Yes,
and as God.
yeah, exactly. Because it's symbology. It's just like
Either that
Enki and
or he MK
Enlil.
Ultra'd himself, you know,
It's Enki and Enlil.
because there's
That's
nobody
what it
there to
is.
MK Ultra him. That's done in Ontario, by the way. So you know, at least that's where they studied it. Hey, Steve, how you doing?
It's madness, man. Like,
But the
like I
knowledge
said,
is still there. The knowledge is still there
yes.
for us to find and tease out. Enki means in earth, Enlil means the air. Yep, yep.
Yeah, I don't think Enki is the bad guy. I think Enlil or Anu is Yaldi. Actually, that's what it seems like to me from what I've looked into the symbology and the archetypes and
Uh-huh.
the energies themselves. Enki could be Lucifer. Actually,
Well, where's the air? The air is above, the water is below, right?
he gave knowledge. Enki gave
Right.
knowledge like Prometheus did,
Mhm.
and Prometheus is definitely Lucifer. But when I say Lucifer, understand
And we
that's an
were
imaginary name.
intimately connected with Enlil uh, through our minds and our thoughts. So
He gave us a language that the gods could not interpret. Like, think
mhm.
about that for a second, and then think about the confusion of
I never
languages
heard
in the
that
Bible.
before. I didn't hear that. I've never heard that before.
Yes,
Okay.
Enki gave us a language that the gods would not understand,
Hmm. You know, I've
and they've
recently thought that
actually,
about cursive writing. I write all my
yeah,
I write all my stuff in cursive, um, that I want to keep away from the ether. You want to keep pure. Like when I write my destinations for targeting in on YouTube and in class, I always do them in cursive. I don't know. I just had the thought to do it that way, to keep it secret from the spirits around. They don't seem to be able to read cursive in my mind. I don't know if that's just my own weird thought, but yeah, I actually do that for that reason. And things I write in my books and that are, that are I don't want uh, any entities or spirits to see. I do in cursive because in my mind I don't think they can understand it. I don't know why. It's just kind of could be a quirk with me. Could be true, or maybe they don't understand printing. I don't know. Cursive is not taught anymore. Yeah. See, now we've got a secret language, right? Us old people, we can
Yeah,
write in
and
cursive,
he
and nobody
and
will know what we're saying.
what's really insane about this is they've studied the Sumerian cuneiform, and they've shown that it actually connects with every other language on the planet.
Mm.
So there's actually something to this mythology. This is
There
what I'm
was there
saying.
was at one time one universal language. There's hints of that
Yes.
all over the planet in
So
symbols.
that story is true to a degree on a
Hmm.
spiritual level. Just like Prometheus stole fire from the gods and it's considered a bad thing. Yeah, well, look what happened to Prometheus. Did he really do something so terrible? We're told that, but was it really?
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah, there's a thought I've been going over recently. Just one of my thought bubbles that go through my head. The church suppressing technology. Do they have some deal with some type of an extraterrestrial race that they keep us
Of
down in
course.
technology, or they come by and smote us again?
Of course.
You know?
That's the archons. They're the true
Yep.
devils.
They're the true
It's not
devils.
angels. It's not angels and daemons. It's the archons. They are our true
Oh, I'm
enemy.
on Happs. Oh, that's D Live.
They are inorganic.
Here, let
Don't
me
let me
give
pull
you
up the
Happs.
Nag It's all in the Nag Like this is where Yaldi came from. It says that he tried to create
No,
man
give me
after
D
the
Live.
image of God. It's totally backwards. He stole the original creatrix, the original divine template of the Anthropos from Sophia in order to create a slave
There's my
that
D
would
Live.
nourish them. It's in the Apocryphon of John. That's an incredible book right there.
Hmm. I
You
haven't
read
read all
that,
of it.
you'll learn a lot.
I have it.
It's long, but
Yeah.
piece by
As I
piece,
say, I
man.
haven't read all of it.
You don't gotta read it all at once.
No.
I read a few chapters a day
Hmm.
for I
I
don't know
should
how
get back
long,
into
a
that.
while,
Yeah.
but it you see very quickly why it was suppressed.
Yeah. You should practice again, Capitalicious. Yeah, I don't know if that's true about writing in cursive, but it's my own little thought, so I just do
It
it.
is it is for you. That's all
Yeah,
that matters.
yeah. The intention behind it will probably give it power. So,
Exactly. That's
so
all anything is.
yeah,
They trap us in these scripts. They're scripts.
yeah. When I was younger, I learned spell casting and I participated in a few spells, not many, but I often watched and at least lent my energy to them. And I really understood at a really quick pace that it was really just about the energy. That the ceremony, the implements, all of that are really just to help you. They don't really amplify your energy, but they do in a way. Um, that's kind of a wishy-washy way to explain it, but yeah, I hope you guys understand what I mean. And when we get to the other side, in my mind, I'm not going to have any of those implements. I'm not going to have any of those tools, so I don't use them. I want to be able to do all of my spell casting, or I don't even call it. I never spell cast. I send my intentions at things because that's what I'll be able to do when I'm in the other side. It'll be my intention. It'll be my control over myself. It'll be the control I have over my spirit, and I think that too will be the factor is the control of the self that maintains your spirit in the other. Do you lose bits of yourself and your memories and your knowledge and your wisdom? I, I bet you could if you go in with fear or anger. Um, I don't know if rage might keep it together, but I'm sure that control will, you know.
No, Sophia is wisdom, but she is very
I'm
real,
using Happs and
and
D-Live, Steve.
she can be experienced directly. Sophia is the animating
Oh,
intelligence of the earth.
let me give you
She was a galactic goddess in aeonic intelligence. She is very real and very present.
that's D-Live.
She is what animates the earth and all things in it. The the original mysteries were about that, but then they buried it and they created all these different versions of Gnosticism. But the original Gnosticism was pre-Christian, and Sophia fell from the pleroma into matter, and this is actually scientific. If you look at the galactic arms, the Gnostics were not a religion. They were, it's almost like noetic sciences that we have today, that they had an understanding of the earth and its origins. The Apocryphon of John is the origin story of the earth. There is a she was a galactic star goddess who didn't she wasn't like a goddess of the earth. She became the earth in order to uh, be with us in our evolution.
Mhm.
She created the anthropos, the genetic template. We have our her nous, which is the divine mind. So really, we're not gods per se. We have divine intelligence.
Mhm.
We're still animals in that sense. We're not human beings yet.
Okay.
We're getting there,
Okay.
but Sophia is Mother Nature, but she's not. Like I said, she's not like the goddess of the earth. She is the earth, and that's a
That's a pretty good way to
deep
look at it.
topic, and it's one of the most like suppressed, demonized, misrepresented. Because they say that the Gnostics denied the material world, and nothing could be farther from the truth. The material world is Sophia.
Well,
So
or that they saw it as
they
evil,
flip,
that material is evil.
but it's not true.
No.
It's baloney. The original Gnostic message, and you can look into like GRS Mead and all these people who really study this stuff, Ellen Boyd Kuhn, all these people, and no, she is the animating intelligence of the earth. She is an aeon, a generator, and we are basically in her dream. This is a dream. We're
Mhm.
actors in her dream. That's what we are.
I didn't
We're
like the Gnostics'
fragments.
writings when I looked at it as good and evil. when I looked at the characters as good and evil in their actions. But you know,
Yeah, see, the original Gnostics had no good in it. It was just error. That's why Jesus says that not to take it seriously. He says it himself. No, we have a part of her. She is not we. We have a part of her. We are,
okay,
yes, I am you and you are me. That is true. But she is not us. We have a part of her,
okay. Well, yeah.
but she is not us. She is a
Now, do you
real
think we
being.
have part of her spirit?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
We were created by her. There's a oh man. The Gnostics would go into visionary trances, and they had a technique, a shaman. It was shamanic.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm just
that
thinking of
they
the
would
energy
be.
distribution, right? If she would have to
They
be
would be.
a well of energy then. So,
Well, she came from the galactic arms. You can think of her. She is an energy. She
mhm.
she was the. If you think of like a surge of
Irradiating. She has to be
plasmic.
irradiating energy. Irradiating energy.
If, if you look at like plasma
Hmm.
cosmology, okay, and
Redshift.
you look at like there was a surge of plasmic energy
Feminine.
that came from the galactic arms in ancient times,
Yeah. Right.
and the Gnostics observed this through what they call Nor, non-ordinary reality, and they would go into these shamanic trances, okay, because the original Gnostics were
Hmm.
shamans. That's a fact,
Yeah.
and they don't want people to know this,
Yeah. That's good stuff.
okay, but
Yeah.
it's there, it's all there. But they understood the the origins of this earth, like the Gnostic. Okay, the original Gnostic story was not about heaven. It wasn't about hell. It wasn't about judgment. It wasn't about any of that. It was about the origins of us and the origins of the aeons, which are galactic generators in the galactic core. The
Hmm.
Gnostics said that the origin was the galactic core.
Yeah,
Guess what?
The
You
Taurus
go look
within
at
the
the
Taurus
galactic
within the
core,
Taurus.
that's the 2012.
Yeah.
The 2012 is the alignment with the galactic center.
I went for a reset,
And
Steve.
the galactic center is where all planets and all universes are born. They
And
knew
I wanted to
this over
multi-stream
two.
from a new platform.
They knew this thousands of years ago. But the Gnostics didn't really. They talked about the source, but really they focused locally because they said until you understand your local origins, you're never going to understand the the ultimate origins of things. And they were all slaughtered. That like they were slaughtered wholesale.
Hmm.
The Native Americans have. I'm part of Ojibwe. They have certain fractals of this. If
Oh,
you
they
look
do.
at, no,
I
we're
was,
not the center.
I was,
We're the center
you
in
can
the dream.
experience, you can have the experience. You're the center of your dream, and you
I,
can
w- I would
experience the
I would
center.
have to like pull out all kinds of
But that's
research, but I'm
definitely the
telling you
center
right
of
now,
creation. Okay, that's an
we are the
interesting thing to think
center
of.
in this dream. We are the center, yes, but there is something beyond that. That's what
You're,
Yaldabaoth
I feel
is
like the
believing that
generator of this experience.
we're the generator. Well, we're the dream, not the dreamer. We are we're plugged in to
Hmm.
the dream.
That's a good
We
way to look
are
at it.
we are well, you know, we
Well, I'm a leaf on a tree too, so
As
I'm part
above,
of the
so
tree, but
below.
I'm not the entire tree. You know,
It's to the point
but
that
I'm still joined to the rest of the tree. I can experience
in
the
our
whole tree.
current understanding and incarnation, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around, you know, the fact that we are God but not, because
Mm.
it's
I'm God in part. I'm a part of Him. All is God.
yes.
So,
Well, well,
but
yeah, all is God, but there is okay. This reality is
the
not
ineffable,
the true
the
reality.
incomprehensible, and you know, yeah, that's what
This is
God
what the
is.
Gnostics were really saying.
But we're trying.
They were not they were not against the material world. They didn't believe it was a prison. They didn't believe any of that. That was put there afterwards so that
Okay.
people were lost in what it was really about, and they demonized and they misrepresented it and everything. I mean, look into the history. Most of the witches that were burned
Okay. See
were
what
the
you see.
Gnostics.
Sure.
They weren't witches, and some were Christians. Okay, and they basically said, "Look, the God that you're serving, okay, is insane." Talking about Yaldabaoth,
Yeah.
and there he is an extraterrestrial AI consciousness. This
Okay.
is where you get the it's they are the archons are the greys and the reptilians. They are not extraterrestrial in the normal in the traditional sense of what people think. They are mind parasites that use simulation in order to create false realities that then trap people. This is the simulation people talk about. It's not a
Uh-huh.
simulation. It's they
Oh,
use
so
simulation.
whose
That's
comment
why
got?
people that have abduction experiences and all that,
Wow.
they have all these incredible experiences or terrible experiences, but really
Where did that come from?
it's a it's deception. Read Jacques Vallée, Messengers of Deception, Passport to Magonia. It's delusion. They create delusions. They create simulations. They create things that aren't really there, and then you believe them, and then guess what? Now they're real. In the Gospel of Truth, the Pistis Sophia, all that, it talks about how they create through this this deception. It says they steal souls by night. They abduct souls by night, and Jesus says that their pleasure is deceit. Like that's what they that, that's how it works. That's why the world is insane. It's
Hmm.
it's an intrusion into the human mind is what it is. So everyone talking about uh extraterrestrials and all that, what that really is a
Yeah.
program. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't extraterrestrials. I'm absolutely convinced there are, but they are not it. And it's really crazy because this story
Mhm.
is so unknown. And you got to kind of wonder why that is. And like I said, you look at it and you start to see this is what runs the world. These people have sold out to these archontic forces that are interdimensional, that are, you know, uh, of a parasitic nature, and they give people power. This is what Jesus was actually talking about. And if you read the Apocrypha of John, the origin of the world, all that, it's clear as day. It's clear as day. I could easily
Should be a little more
do a
flexible
3 hour
in what you
video
think, Steve, and
explaining
what you
it.
do.
So I'm not pulling this from the sky. It's all there.
That might
And
help.
then you can look at in fact, I did a video a few years back uh, talking about
I
this.
can think of things as a seed or a tree. Doesn't matter to me.
About the yeah, here it is. Sophia's dreaming, the fallen wisdom goddess, and Archon intrusion. And you can go and you can look at all of these ancient texts, and they talk about it. What they were warning about thousands of years ago is exactly what's happening. They called this shit.
Oh,
The idea, this is where the Talmud comes from. This is how it happened.
that's funny.
Because they convinced people that they were the chosen ones and they were the only ones and they were the righteous ones. The
There you go.
Zadokим. Okay? This is where it all starts. This is where it all, the roots are to all of this madness. Is that they were convinced that they were somehow special and they had to fix the world. And no one else could. And then if you listen to the Talmudists, they'll tell you straight up, they created us.
Hmm.
I can show you and anyone else. They say
Well,
in their own words, they are the gods.
that's
They
a
are the
terrible
Elohim,
thought.
God. It's the truth. And this is what runs the world. Is this insanity? They believe that they are the chosen ones. That's why they want to remake the world and have a new world order and
Hmm.
all of that. Because they honestly believe that
Well,
they
they are
come
certainly
from
are
the
people.
gods.
Yeah.
They say it in their own words.
I don't know if all of them follow that teachings, but they certainly seem directed in the same
They say it in their own
ideology.
words, man.
You know.
They believe they're superior. They believe this is the divine right. All of
Hmm.
that. It all comes from that.
Yeah, they do believe it's their right. That's for sure.
But the reason why they believe this is because of this intrusion into the human mind.
Hmm.
They use fantasy in order to tap in. And basically, they make people believe they have power they don't really have. That's this through how HAL is simulation.
Yeah. Well, and they seem to think that they have the right to decide people's destiny. You know,
They are vessels of the
completely,
demonic.
completely disregarding free will. You know.
Well, they're actually not demonic because demonic is an evil. Daemon means divine intelligence. They are archons. They are not the same thing. The
Sure.
daemons are the ancient gods, the pagan gods of yesteryear. Those are the daemons.
Yeah.
Those are the angels. Those are the elves. Those are the fairies. They're not
Hmm.
evil.
Yeah.
These
I
archons,
look at almost everything as an entity. If it's positive, it's
that
positive. It's
created
negative,
this
it's
system.
negative. Or if it's acting positive or negative.
They created this system and made them believe that they were the only ones who could lead the world.
Well, chosen ones are
And
often
this
just
is
chosen by themselves. So, you know.
well, there's tons of literature and tons of people that will tell you in their own words what I'm telling you. They believe themselves to not be from here. They say it. They honestly believe that they come from this other source and
Well,
they're here to lead
the
us.
kingship descended from heaven, right? Isn't that what the Bible says?
Yes.
You know, after the flood, the kingship descended from heaven. So there might be some real aspects to that. Might be just some psychotic aspects to that. You know?
It's psychotic. It's a delusion.
Yeah.
It's absolutely a delusion. But this is what rules the earth. This is the truth of these Zadokим, these Talmudists.
Yeah.
This is what Jesus talked about. They're righteous in their own eyes. They say they're Jews, but they are not. But they are the synagogue of Satan.
Hmm.
Satan is not a person or a being. It's a title. So it's like uh, in court. Okay, I don't like what you say, so you're Satan. But if you go to the other side, and say, oh, well, you're wrong, so you're Satan. It's whoever, you know, whoever it depends on who's writing it.
Yeah.
We're Satan to those people who believe that they should rule the earth. We are
Hmm.
Satan to them.
Yeah. Mhm.
Demons are not.
I
Demons
am
are
their
not evil.
adversary.
Demons are not evil. They are old gods that the Judeo-Christian patriarchy didn't like.
I heard of
And
a
a lot of them
writing
were
that I like
goddesses.
that there are 365 demons and that they follow you around your whole life. And those are the days of the year that you live. And if you make them into demons, they're little demons that follow you around. But
Right.
they're that's one teaching of it that
When
I
you
like.
see them as demons, that's the problem. Because then
Yeah.
they will be.
Yeah.
Because whatever you turn to them, they turn back to you.
Well,
And
it's just a symbolic teaching on your thinking. That's all.
but there really are forces out there. Now,
Well,
whether
that
or not
energy,
they come
you can manifest that
for
energy as a
us,
demon and have it follow you around for the rest of your life. Or you can,
well, yeah,
yeah, you know,
yeah, for sure. But they were gods. That's what they were. Like, for instance, Marbos
who
in
are
the
God.
Goetia is Isis. Is Isis a demon? Belial, one of the princes of hell, was a spring goddess
Hmm.
of Phoenicia. Is
Hmm.
she a demon? Lilith,
Depends on what she brings you.
Adam's
You know?
first wife, is a demon. Is she really? Anything they didn't like was a demon. That's the reality. Anything the
Post it if you
church
can,
didn't like,
probably.
that was a demon. They stole the pantheons of other religions
That's
and then
cool.
they turned them into saints and angels and this and that and the third.
Hmm.
But the fact of the matter is, these are spirits that didn't even belong to them.
I like how
They
they made
took
God
them.
a guy with a white beard sitting on a cloud.
Yeah, Zeus.
Yeah, yeah, an archetype. I have lined up on my playlist now because you made me think of it earlier when we were talking. I Am Superman, the song by REM.
Yeah.
There's a lot of truth in the poetry of the bards and the singers. You know, it's
I
true.
work with them personally. I've worked with spirits personally,
Hmm.
directly. So what anyone says really is irrelevant to me because I work with them personally.
I see them. I
But
sometimes
demon is
I'll
an old
interact
god.
with them.
Anything else is Christianity, the bad side,
Mhm.
where you're supposed to fear everything. No, no, it's baloney, and I can prove it. But I'm not going to because I don't care to.
Yeah.
Because
If I
this is the
understand
thing:
archons,
you've
well,
already made up your mind,
I'll understand an
so there's no
archon in my
point.
own way. Uh,
I'm not talking to you, Max, but I'm talking to
yeah,
most people.
yeah,
They've already made up their mind on what it is. So
yeah.
no matter what I show, it isn't going to matter. So that's why I don't care. But
I have an
I'm telling you
expression.
right now,
that might help people because I see things through my third eye. You've got your spirits or your demons or your little. Some people will call them angels, whatever. Angels to
But
me are
they
much
were
bigger than spirits.
demons.
Yeah, to me
Demons
though.
were
Let me just
demons.
finish. Let me just finish. This is just an expression. I'm not trying to nail down any terms or anything like that for you. Okay. I see things in energy forms, and the energy forms come in many different sizes in my visions. They're small ones. They're like us. There's some that are bigger than us, but they're what are called archons, or some people term as archons. They're much bigger. They're much more encompassing, and their energy flows in huge swaths. And then you've got like the zodiac, those energies. Those energies come in huge swaths, and you can see them. They're patterns. They're patterns, and they're energy waves, and they are huge. They're the same as the small energy forms. They're just much, much bigger.
They are
And that's how I
primordial
kind of
earth
that's how I
energies.
kind of see the term archon in my thinking. And then you've got God. Whew. Well, that's an energy pattern and form that runs everywhere, and I haven't seen that really. I've seen all the others are just overlaid over top of that, but
I
it's
don't
under there.
talk about this shit like it's a philosophy. I work with them
Yeah,
personally. That's what
I
I'm
see
saying.
them. I
So
don't.
anything anyone
I
tells
don't
me,
interact with them at the moment. Although there are
believe
the
what you want.
energies that affect me, but
When you've actually worked with
individual
them
entities.
personally one to one,
Mhm.
then you'll understand that Christianity made them evil. Anything that they didn't like was the devil.
Well, there are positive and negative entities.
Yeah. And there are angels that aren't so happy
Yeah,
to work with. There
yeah.
are angels that will destroy you.
Oh, angels come in positive and negative. You know,
And so
in
do
their
demons.
actions, and
They're like
yeah,
us.
yep,
This is the vision of self again.
yeah.
This is what I'm saying. When you see that as evil,
Hmm.
then you're denying a part of yourself. That's the reality. Okay? So people say they're out of Christianity, but yet they still think that demons are evil. So they're still in Christianity, in
Hmm.
my eyes. Until you understand that
Okay.
demons are ancient gods, you're still in Christianity
I don't like to
in
give
some
them
way.
that much power.
You're
Uh,
not giving them power.
you know,
When you're
that's
afraid of them or you deny them, that's when you give them power.
why I hardly even like naming them demons or archons or that. Um,
Archons are a whole other fucking story. Archons
yeah.
are AI. They're behind transhumanism.
Okay. Interesting.
Archons are AI. They're not spirits. They're AI and they're ET. But what they really are, who knows? They're
Okay.
shapeshifters. They're what the elite work
Well,
with.
where does their energy come from?
They're inorganic. That's the difference. They are
Okay.
inorganic. And they have an AI hive mind mindset.
Okay.
You got to get into the Apocrypha of John. Look into John Lamb Lash. Look into GRS
Well,
Me.
to me, there are fixed energies and there are free energies. Like the zodiac is like a fixed energy, but there are free energies that wander about and do things on their own. Those, I don't know if that. I'm trying to nail down your understanding of Archon. That's all, and other things. How you see them.
Well, it's like Capitalisha said. You have to be open to all things.
Hmm. Exactly.
You
Well,
can't
that's
just
one.
reject something knee jerk.
Yeah.
That's still religion. If you do that, that means you're still in religion.
Well, I don't think anybody did
Period.
that.
No, but I'm saying if you do, well,
Yeah.
Slightly Slanted did just now, and that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. He gets stuck on
But
his
you can have. But this
lines
is the
of
thing.
thought and doesn't want to adapt
I'm
to it.
not trying. I'm not trying to tell anyone to believe in it. That's the last damn thing I want to do. I'm
Yeah.
saying don't make knee-jerk reactions on things that you haven't looked up
Mhm.
in detail or
Yeah.
actually experienced personally. Anything you haven't experienced is open.
Hmm.
We don't know. That's the truth of the matter.
Hmm.
We like to think we know, but we really don't. But we're afraid to know. See, I've crossed that boundary. I'm not afraid of any of these things, okay? Because they're me. Now, archons are a different story altogether. They are an AI. You, watch my video, The Fallen Wisdom Goddess and Archon Intrusion. It goes into how the Gnostic texts are actually scientific. They are provable to this day. How the galactic core, the galactic center, what they call the pleroma, there was plasmic energies that came out of it. And this was the creation of everything. If you go and you look into the galactic center, which is what we
Okay.
aligned with in 2012, which is why they created all the apocalypse stories and everything, scared the hell out of everybody, so they don't understand that this is a good thing. This is why there's the awakening, because now we're directly connected with home, because that is where all the planets, all the galaxies came from. That's
Starlink
scientific.
satellite system. Starlink
There
satellite
is,
system blasting waves down on you.
so to put it quite simply, Sophia is tired of the baloney and she's waking up. That's what the Mandela effect really is.
A
Her
lot of
communicating.
some people think that that has to do with our population too, and hence the depopulation. Is that
Well,
once we
they
reach
want to
a
scare
critical
people.
mass, we naturally become linked and connected. Even those that haven't worked at it will become linked and connected at a critical mass of people. Which it's an interesting theory. I like it. It's fun to think about.
But there is a lot of scientific backing to what the Gnostics talked about. That's what's so mind blowing.
Oh
They
yes,
they basically understood noetic sciences back then,
yeah.
and I'm totally cool with people disagreeing. I'm totally cool with that. But when you say no, 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 that's not
Yeah.
true, da, 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 you don't know until you've experienced it, until you've looked into it. You don't know.
Yeah,
So just say
and
you don't know.
really
Like
expressing
I was saying
something,
about Sadhguru.
expressing to somebody in language is so ineffective. The
That's
only
true.
truth is in experience, and if we were connected, that would be such a much better way just to experience instead of trying to explain something to somebody. Uh, you know,
They don't want us to know that
yeah.
we actually have a divine
Hey,
mother
Paul.
who not only cares
Yeah.
about us, but actually became a part of this experiment in order to be a part of our evolution. You're telling me the Earth isn't alive? And if it's alive, then how is it alive?
Well, in some sense, it is to me. In some sense,
Because
it's not. The ancients write that the earth is a corpse, but it still has its. I think it still has its spirit. You know.
we are walking on her body.
Yeah. In my mind, yeah,
She's
that's what I
alive.
think. Um,
Paula knows what I'm talking about.
not physically, but spiritually, I think.
But it's like this. My issue is this. If
Yeah,
okay,
I'm
no
sub to
matter
those
what I'm listening
calculations.
to,
Not
no
Paul
matter
Cook,
what I'm
though.
listening to, no matter what I'm listening to, with somebody, whether I agree, whether I disagree, I take a second, breathe, okay, and let it settle.
Hmm.
When you have knee-jerk reactions, that's programming.
Hmm.
Period.
Yeah.
If you can't let something settle in your brain for a few minutes before you
Hmm.
start freaking out, that's programming. It's the truth.
Yeah.
If you have to immediately defend it, that means you're unsure yourself. I've just
Hmm.
hit you with something that no, that doesn't compute. That's the breakdown of the programming. That can't be right. That can't be true. You know.
Yeah. Some
So
people's minds just get shut off, or they get rage when they hear
Right.
concepts and ideas that don't agree with theirs. And
Okay,
that is
but here's the
programming.
thing. True enlightenment is being able to take in any idea and swallow nothing.
I will.
So all I'm saying is, look, if I disagree with somebody, okay, I don't just immediately jump at them and say, you're wrong, blah, 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 I know, da, da, da. No, you don't. No,
Yeah.
you don't. Okay? Because I don't know everything. I know what I know and I know what I don't know. Okay? But to have a knee-jerk reaction, that's programming. Because you're not detached. You're now invested in it. Okay? So what I'm saying is, if you disagree, disagree. But think about it for a second before you disagree. Don't just disagree to disagree. People sometimes just disagree to disagree.
Yeah.
And that's ego shit. That's ego shit. I want to be right and you're wrong. Okay, cool. So I'm going to give you all these resources. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yep. I can be a leaf on a tree or I can be a seed in the ground.
Read
Either
it,
way is fine for me.
then tell me I'm wrong. Or at the very least, listen to what I have to say to the end. Then disagree. Then I'll completely, I'm fine with that.
Yep.
But when you disagree when I haven't even explained anything yet, that's the issue. Because you're talking about something so deep. And people want you to summarize it in 3 sentences. It's not possible. That's arrogance.
If you look into all sides
I
and
know
every
the truth
perspective too, you might find truth
I know
in
the
all of
truth
them.
because this, and this.
You know?
That's religion. I know because this, and this, and that's it. That's the truth. No, it's not.
Mhm.
You're talking about a completely comprehensive system.
Yeah. People don't
Of
use
galactic
qualifiers to what they
proportions.
say often enough these days. Like I think
I don't
or
need a
in my
qualifier.
opinion, you know? Well, yeah,
Yeah.
you do. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you do in the sense of if you really want to get something across.
Well, but when you know,
But-
well, when we're doing a show, right? It's like
Look.
this is my opinion and I'm here to present it. So I shouldn't have to do that. But yeah.
Right. That's what when someone says you're wrong, you're wrong. Okay. It's like I don't do it.
Yeah.
To me, that's almost judgment.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like
Oh,
this.
It is.
If you sit through it and you listen, you think this guy's an asshole, he doesn't know what he's talking about, blah 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 blah. This is bullshit. Cool. I respect you more. But when you start coming at me, when you have no knowledge of what I'm
I wouldn't
talking
respect
about,
a person more for that, but okay.
yeah. Hey, if you listen to all of it and you think this is bullshit, he's an asshole, cool. I'm fine with that. But at least wait a damn second. Don't pick Republican or Democrat. There might be other choices.
Oh,
That's
qualifiers.
how I feel.
Qualifiers. You know, these are my thoughts.
Well, because what are we talking about?
This
right?
is how I
Angels
think.
and demons. I'm sitting here telling everybody that demons are ancient gods. I can prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt. I don't need to, but I can. So how did they become demons? The church. You worship any other god, you're burned alive. Remember who the source is.
Hi, Paul. Good to see you, buddy.
Remember who the source is. If you listen to anyone else, you'll be burned alive. Convert or die. You know what I'm saying? I don't sit and question other people's beliefs. I don't sit and try to say, no, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. I don't need to do that. Why?
Well,
because I'm comfortable in what I know.
qualifiers are useful because you're expressing your thoughts. And I don't know why people try to take offense when people say, like, God is all. Well,
People are
somebody
offensive
might have a
everything.
different opinion. So they,
What does that even
immediately
mean?
jump on them. Yeah.
What
You
is
know,
that? But see,
in my
that's
opinion,
not really
God
knowledge.
is all. You know,
That's
but
parroting.
just the simple thing is saying, in my opinion, God is all. You know, I'm
Thank you.
not telling you, because I'm not telling you that your thought is God is all. It's my thought, you know?
Now, see, I agree with you that God is all, but just
Mhm.
saying God is all is not knowledge. That's parroting.
Mhm.
That's I heard someone else say it and it
I'm
sounded
just
cool to me,
using
so
it as
that's
an
what I believe.
example. I'm just using it as an example.
No, but it's a good one because I agree with you that God is all. But if you just say God is all, that's not knowledge. That's I heard that. That sounds good. I don't like
Yeah.
religion, so that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to change my. It's
Well,
like
or you may
changing
have a
clothes.
deep understanding, and just want to
Well, that's
express that to
different.
people, right?
That's a different thing.
Right.
If
But
you
you
have a
could
deep
use,
understanding.
but if you just say the exact same thing, God is all, right? You can get different responses, you know.
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
but if you
Yeah.
say, I think God is all, then somebody could look
Right.
at your statement and say, oh, okay, that's what that person, he's not telling me that I have to think God is all. And that's
I
the
don't
way
want
a
anyone
lot
to.
of people take our language is that when we say, like God is all, and we tell people take it as if I'm telling you, you have to think of God as all. I don't understand
Right.
that in people, but it does happen.
Well, Max, this is what I'm trying to say, man.
People's
Like
inability to take something just as a concept and not a command
I am, I am
is
the last
really
person in the
disheartening.
world.
You know,
I am the last person in the world who wants anyone to believe a damn thing because I don't believe a damn thing.
I want people
It's all
to
through my
think things and
experience.
think different things than I think.
So it's
That's what I
like,
want.
so it's like, I know that the only
I
path
do like it
is
when
your
people
path.
agree with what I think, though. I'll admit that. Everybody likes
I mean, I do, but at the same time, like, I want them to find their own truth. The
Yeah.
only way to find the truth is through your own. That's the thing. That's the problem.
The fun.
Everybody has a way to the truth, the one way, okay? And that's religion, okay? And then that's it. I'm saying, here's some breadcrumbs that I put together that you can
Hmm.
look into, okay? You might
Yeah.
not like it.
Yeah. It's
You might
better to
love
give
it.
people a
I
nudge than
don't
a
really
hammer on the
care.
head, right?
I'm just trying to give you information that's been deeply suppressed,
Yeah.
okay? But to
I'd rather give
me,
somebody a nudge and say, "Hey, look at this,"
I would,
instead
okay,
of
look,
giving them a hammer on
I
the
would
head.
rather piss somebody off,
Really, I
okay?
don't like pissing people off.
I would, no, no,
It's
no,
not
listen,
my
let me
intention.
finish. I would rather piss somebody
Sorry,
off
I'm kind of
and make them think,
yeah.
okay? And then come back and either be like, oh shit, he had a point there.
Yeah.
Maybe he had a few things I disagreed with, but there were a few things also that made sense. Or
Problem is
come
when you
back and
piss
be like,
people
yeah, I
off,
don't
they tend
totally
to not
disagree.
think
I
clearly. So.
totally disagree. Uh, you know, and but at the same time, by creating that pattern disruption I was talking about,
Mm,
chaos, okay, that makes them think, and then that leads them to what their path is, whatever that is.
I have
I
a
don't
hard
care if
time
they
agreeing
become
with
Muslim
that,
the next
but
day.
yeah, I can see your
I
point.
don't care if they become Muslim the next day.
There's a Zen
I just want
teaching
them to
where
think.
you basically where the teacher will make the student do useless tasks over and over again until they just finally get in their
It's just
head.
I'm
Why are
constantly
you
interrupting.
making me doing these useless tasks? Right?
When you constantly interrupt somebody, it's kind of hard to get a feel for what they're actually saying.
Yeah.
It's arrogant. So that's what I'm saying. I would rather piss somebody off. Okay, I'm not saying I want to,
I
but I'm
agree.
saying the worst case scenario. Okay, and then think,
But if
oh
that
man,
pisses
he's a
you
piece of
off, then I'm
stupid.
doing what you want.
Well, I'm not here. I'm not here to tell anybody what to think. I'm telling them how to find their own way. You know, the occult
Hmm.
sciences is not a belief. You can experience it for yourself. Meditation is not a belief system. It's something. The only way is your way. There is no other way.
Hmm.
There is no other way but your way. Period. Anyone who tries to tell you there's any path that you need to walk
Oh, that's awesome.
is a charlatan or a
Yeah.
salesman. The only way is your
You
way.
have to
We all
understand
have our
things the
own
way that I do
individual.
to achieve enlightenment.
Now there are universal truths, but most of the truths are personal truths. And this is my thing, okay? This is my number one issue. Just let me say this, okay? My number one issue is that I have as many questions as answers, okay? And so for me, I would rather have a bunch of people with a bunch of different ideas that I might completely disagree with at first, right? But then be able to take in all those ideas, evaluate them, and be like, this is bullshit. This makes sense. This is, you know, and the point to me is not first off, there is no one answer. That's the number one thing right off the bat. Okay, because reality is not static; it's dynamic. It's always changing. Okay, so there is no one answer. So if there is no one answer, then that means that we all come to individual answers. Okay, and then guess what? Instead of competing and being egoic while pretending to be spiritual, okay, you come together and you say, huh, I got this puzzle piece, you got that puzzle piece. Let's put these puzzle pieces together and see where it goes. That's what I want. Cooperation. Cooperation. A round table, not competition.
Yeah.
Not I know this because, or you're wrong because of this.
Well, back to Archons.
That's religion.
Let's get back
That's
to
religion.
Archons.
Well, I got to go, actually.
Oh, okay. It's 5:30.
Yeah.
I almost have to go.
But I'm just saying, like, that's everything was going so well. And I just, yeah. It's all good, though. But I just want to make that clear. Like, no one can tell you true. You have to find that on your own.
Yeah.
There is no.
You can offer people
way.
different ways of thinking, but the truth to them will be different than you.
And that's the point. And you collect the different views.
Oh, Archons are
and
cool.
You sit back and you say, okay, what is this? What is that? You know, like I said, it's about cooperation.
That's why
we're going to find out a lot more.
Talk here, Scotty,
because
he knows a lot more about Archons than I do. So I don't.
We're going to have a lot more gnosis and a lot more understanding if people come together, drop their preconceptions. Okay. I know what you said here, and I don't like it. But this over here, this actually is kind of interesting. Can you tell me more about that? I'm a student and a teacher, okay? I'm an eternal student.
I find everybody's
I consider myself a teacher, but at this point, I guess I have to.
I like everybody being a teacher.
You know? A true teacher doesn't tell you what to believe. A true teacher doesn't tell you how to think. It doesn't, or what to think. It shows you how you can come to your own conclusions. There is no one answer. It does not exist. It never has. It never will.
I don't know, me.
You know, that's why I got to go, because I got stuff I got to take care of.
Okay.
But I just wanted to make that clear. That's another thing that was agitating me, is that was going on while I'm trying to explain, and yeah.
Oh, I just ignore that. I don't pay much attention.
That's why I don't bother.
You know,
like I said, people believe what they want. I could care less.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to push anything.
Yeah.
I'm like I said.
That always happens. I just don't pay any attention to it.
It's whatever.
It's really not worth my time.
There's no disrespect, you know.
Yeah.
It's all good, but I'm just saying, like, with the fucking knee-jerk reactions, chill. It's not that serious.
Exactly.
That's another thing. It's not that serious. We're all here to learn, man.
Yeah, should be fun.
We're all here to learn. We're all here to enjoy each other's presence, and we're all here to elevate each other. Everything else is worthless. You know, that's what I'm here for.
Well, I was majorly elevated by our talk today. I'm glad you came by. But I'd like to do more on the Archons, because I don't know much about the Archons. You know, that's why
they're the true enemies.
Yeah.
Whether or not we somehow created them in some way, I don't know. But I can tell you this: they are. I mean, it comes down to this: Do you believe that greys and reptilians exist?
Hmm. Well, for me, like
Okay, then there's our
understanding who
Hans.
they are by
Okay,
different people's
well, the
perceptions will help me
non-Hamadi.
maybe identify them. I might be able to identify them in my
Huh?
third eye, which,
Okay.
you know, is cool.
All right, but I'll be back, man.
Yeah,
I gotta take care of
let's see
some
where this
stuff.
goes. All right, you have a great day. And much love to
You
everyone. We're
too,
going to end
man.
the broadcast now. So much love to you all. Have a great day. Keep your third eye open. Use your intelligence and your intuition. Bye bye.
Peace, love, unity, respect.